That Hansel's so hot right now.
My retire.
Hansel, so hot right now. Hansel.
I would like to take this up. People! I'd like to announce my retirement from the male modeling profession.
It's that damn Hansel. He's so hot right now.
In the middle of the night or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
What a crowd. And honestly, we have got quite the crowd already forming in the chats over there. Look at that, you guys. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are ready to have some fun today. We're going to look at we're going to get our Christmas our letters to Santa ready today. We're going to be talking about our Christmas wish list. Some things that we would like to get, maybe give out some suggestions for those last minute shoppers out there that are trying to find, just the right gift for their special someone out there. Maybe their artist or comic collector that they've got in the family, and they can give them a few. We're gonna give them a few tips today. I'm gonna do that. Randy, how was your week, man?
Crazy as usual, but good. It was good.
Yeah, there you go. Crazy as usual.
Yep.
There seems to be a theme going on here. How was your week? Crazy. It was nuts. It was stupid. A stupid week.
Silly.
It reminds me. It reminds me of that that Hulk, that Hulk panel. Come, friends, let us go away from this dumb place.
Yes.
One of my favorites. It is. I've been trying all week to do some special Christmas branding for Fund My Comic, and have not been able to. And my week just got more stupid, got more dumb.
Maybe your fire isn't quite up to temperature.
Yeah, maybe. We're not sure. Yeah,
Anyway,
not quite sizzling. So, yeah, we get it. But
yeah,
we got it.
sorry. Now get rid of it.
Not to give Glenn more fuel, but today I'm really pissed that I was working digital last week for a book. I have a file that's corrupted, so I have to go in and fix some inks because it won't save.
No.
Like it won't even like the ink file. All the other layers are fine, but it's like the main art layer that I was working on, and I was like, "Damn it! I wouldn't be doing this if this was pen and ink." Yeah, it was so frustrating. So I'm like, well, I guess but it did take me like an hour to do the page where it would have taken me like 3 hours to do it otherwise. So it was.
It took you another 2 hours to figure out you're not saving it properly.
Well, it only took me 15 minutes to figure that out. It took me 15 minutes to figure that out. It'll take me 20 minutes to fix the area that needs to be covered with additional inks. So
should back up your hard drive. Make sure it's
it is backed up. It's backed up 3 times. It's just the file. So it's a Clip Studio had some issues the other day. And I don't know what was going on with it. It was acting really weird. I tried to install an update and it didn't work.
That's
And
what it
so
was.
it somehow corrupted that file.
New information
Which is one of
coming
the
to light.
which is one of the downfalls of Drawn on Glass. There's a lot of positives to it, but there's also a few negatives that I come into, not having an original to sell. And then, if something happens to an original before you get it scanned, then same thing. You've got to redo it and it sucks. And,
every medium's got its pitfalls.
Everything has its pitfalls. You could just not do anything and just complain about everything.
Yeah,
That's true.
I did that for 40 years.
Yeah.
There you are.
Whiskey, how is your day? Your week going?
Oh, no, just complaining about shit.
You know what? I find that men in their 40s do that really, really well. You're not quite in your 40s, though, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Russ said I had a corrupt pen the other day. I threw it in the bin.
Yeah, I ran into that too. I'm in the middle of doing something and it just stops working. I'm like, you little bugger.
It took me an hour and a half to figure out how to take files from my colorist and save them on my computer. That's how computer illiterate I am.
Yeah, we've learned about that, John, this week.
Yeah. I had a meltdown this week, and Luke was wonderful to me. Thank you, Luke. I'm embarrassed, and I need to.
That's all right. You shouldn't. No, don't be embarrassed. I'll tell you, we all have those days, and then sometimes the perfect storm of things that happen. And I believe it or not, I don't know. I try to be really, really patient. There's this video of this guy. So these 2 guys, they're getting ready to do an interview on the street, and they've got their setup, and there's a camera, and this guy just walks right through them, and this dude looks like, wow, what's up with him, right? And the guy says, never attribute to malice what you can attribute to incompetence.
That's pretty fair with me.
But
I'm not mean. I'm just incompetent.
yeah, but not incompetence, like that's a really broad and general term. Like, people get in their own world and they've got their own things that are affecting them and they're dealing with. And sometimes they're unaware of the world around them. And when things build up, sometimes you lash out. And you got to think, what would have caused me to do that? Let me try to think from the other person's perspective for a while. I've tried to be better at that.
That's road rage altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's something that
Road
is
rage is an entirely different animal. Even my sweet wife gets road rage. Oh, man.
right. Yeah. So Fund My Comic has forced me to be more
Patient.
understanding and patient. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, and so
Tolerant.
very tolerant. Yeah. You know what else has helped me? Finally getting ADHD meds. I didn't realize how irritable I was just because people weren't keeping up with me
Oh,
mentally.
You
And
just
as soon
thought
as
you
I-
were salty ever since, a little more salty since you woke up, huh?
Right. Yeah. And that was not it at
ADHD.
all. It's my ADHD.
ADHD.
Yeah. The doctor's like, here you go.
Why don't you take
Well,
this and mellow out?
I got to say, you know, I had a problem with something that I'm not going to bring up, and I just took it out on the next person who talked to me, which was Luke. So, again, I'm really embarrassed, and I apologize.
no need
But,
to, man.
But I just take this as an opportunity to say, like, why would you go to any other site but Fund My Comic? I had a problem. It wasn't even Luke's problem, and this guy sends me his phone number, and we're talking on the phone, and he's fixing my problem that wasn't even his. You know what I mean? So, again, I don't even know anybody over at the pink site, the green site, much less anybody who'd send me their phone number and fix a problem that wasn't even their problem. So there you go. You know, I'm more on board than I was a week ago. And a week ago, I was very on board.
Yeah. I just, you know, I want everybody to be able to do this thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm 43 years old, finally doing
Baby.
what I wanted to do since I was 14. So next year I'll be 44 and I will have worked for about a year doing comic books full time. And it only took 30 years to finally realize what I wanted to do. And even on the bad days and the rough days, when I am, you know, I'm trying to barrel down 2 big deadlines before the end of the year. And so even when I'm trying to you know, jump on top of those things, and I'm in the chair 15, 16 hours a day, just brutally tired at the end of the day. It's still not that bad. I'm still smiling, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm drawing funny books. You know, I'm having a good time here.
There you go.
You know, life is
Life could
life
be
is
worse.
good.
Yeah, could be a lot worse.
Yeah, could be a lot worse.
Life is good. I read someplace that men are the happiest in their 50s, and I just turned 55 2 weeks ago, and I got to say that's pretty true.
Well, happy
know,
birthday.
Yeah, thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Happy birthday. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on vacation right now. It's my birthday, my anniversary, and Christmas and New Year's. So
Wrapped
I always
into
take
one.
off these 2
Wow.
weeks.
Nice. I was wondering how we were able to get John on the channel today. So, John, we're going to talk a little bit about your show,
Oh,
what
thank
you
you.
do. You have been able to get some amazing guests over there.
Yeah, I'm wondering how I do it.
So am I. Yeah, I'm very impressed. I would love it if we could. Well, of course, I never really pursue anyone, but I would love to try to get some of these guests in the new year here on this show. I think. Well, I don't know. I think the Nerd Bacon crowd. I think the Bacon Nation out there. I think we'll do them. We'll do them well. I think this panel is brilliant. So I think we have a lot to talk about. And I mean, who couldn't have a little bacon? The hardest part is getting people up this early to do this.
Yes.
I mean, this is the comic show for the working man. You know, the guy that's got to go into work and they want to listen while they're pedaling around. Yeah. You know, they got it playing. Yeah, we find that's what a lot of our listeners are. I do know that we have a few out there that will play it while they're at work. So their coworkers are listening too. So they're hearing it. So yeah, or on the commute. Yeah. So, which is what I wanted for this show to be, was that kind of that morning thing that they could listen to, safe for work ish.
I was going to say, you got to be more of a shock jock like Howard Stern. We got to get
I'm just not into that.
Cursing and
I'm just not into that.
Reports. Yeah.
Yeah. This morning, your traffic sucks. Traffic always sucks.
Here's Tom with the weather. Yeah.
So you got me on that one. My first name's Tom. As we've all established, if you followed any of the Twitter drama over the last
I
month
try
in
to stay
December,
out of the drama, but
it was hard to miss that one.
I'm human. A car crash makes me look.
Right. It's like a train wreck. You know, it's going to be ugly, but man, you just got to take a peek.
When I'm driving and I see the rubbernecking, I get stubborn. I'm not even gonna look. I'm not even gonna look.
Dude, I am a rubbernecker. I will make my family in the car rubberneck for me. Like, I want a full description of what just happened.
Well,
there's
I'm like, I just stopped for 10 minutes. At least, all right, I'm gonna look. At least I stopped against my will. I'm gonna look anyway.
Yeah. We were running to the store last night, my daughter and I, and there were 3 cop cars down the way past where we're going to turn. And my daughter was like, "You want me to go past so you can rubberneck?" I go, No, they're pulling away. It's fine. I'd miss it anyway. Yeah. So, so it's where was I? What was I? I had one of those moments where I just the train. Speaking of train wrecks,
in the morning.
Yes, they listen in the morning. I wanted to do this kind of Bob and Tom thing, where we have some fun. We talk about the things we're passionate about, and we do what we want. We make up our own rules, and I think we've been having a good time doing that.
So you're saying this show isn't for the 1 p.m. breakfast bacon crab or breakfast pizza crab?
It can be. They can listen back to it, yeah. But it's no, that's the morning roast. That is Sugar Chris's show.
You know what Gary says?
Let's talk about buttered sausage. Talk about
buttered sausage, yeah.
Let's talk about
Sometimes we do talk about buttered sausage. Let's go to the chat. Let's see what we've got in the house today. We want to welcome Ronan's Reviews. He was number 1 at 7:25 a.m. this morning, getting up there early. Hojo came in at 7:30. We have John's Long Box here on the panel and in the chat. Welcome, my friend. It's good to have you with us today. I can't wait to talk comics with you. Comic Book Black Belt Russ Leach is in the house. Yo, peeps. We got Levi Skeen in the house. Hail to the chat. Bring on the sizzle. He said that right about the time the sizzle started, which was perfect. Only 6'4" is in the house. Oi, oi, oi. It's good to see you, my friend. Dave Brink, one of the most talented and reasonable guys in independent comic books today. Good morning, afternoon, evening, all you awesome
Just had
people.
him on Wednesday. Last night.
He is a great guy. And so
I'm so excited to get his comics.
So there was I was reminded of it today. There was this gear reviewer for guitars. I've been getting a lot of I've been going back to watching gear stuff, and I'm just so sick of all the drama and all the bleh. This sucks. I'm like, yeah, I know it sucks. I'm tired of hearing about how bad it sucks. No one's talking about what's good. Everyone's talking about what sucks. And so I've just kind of started going to some gear reviews, and guess what? They're talking about what sucks over there too. There's drama there. There's a guy that did synth reviews for years, and he's like, no, I'm done. I can't handle it. People are telling me I should kill myself because I'm a corporate shill. And I'm like, then don't be a corporate shill. I'm like, it's that simple,
Luke, every fandom, I because I got friends who are into guitars and cars, but if you go online and follow any fan, it's all the same thing. It's politics, it's division,
it's the same thing. Yeah.
So on my channel, I try to only review. I don't even review. I just showcase comics that I love. I want to talk about comics that I try to stay out of drama. I generated a little bit on my own, but whatever.
I mean, a little bit can be fun, right? I mean, just a little bit. I mean, that's why we watch soap operas. But not all the
drama
time.
in the comics is fun. But
in the comics, I mean,
lashing out at the wrong person is not fun.
And unfortunately, there's a lot in the news over the last few weeks, and even more. We'll read about it this morning as we get into some of the news articles.
But Genuine Comics, oh my God! I saw the image for his covers, and I was excited like a little kid. I backed without even reading because I wanted to be surprised. Then he came on yesterday, and oh my God, I cannot wait to get 1 to 4 of Perfect 10.
Dave gets it. I'm just saying, Dave gets it. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Marcus Killigrew is in the house. Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Marcus,
what's going on? Hicks Villain. What's it?
Is there anybody on the panel that hasn't backed Dave on his books?
I'm afraid I haven't yet, but I will.
Yeah, Randy's late to the show. He's got to get up there. Hicks Villain in the house. Welcome. There's Glenn. There's the fantastic Mr. Glenn. Hey, fellas. Coloring Russ and Randy's Shadow Kingdom book logo. I came up with. Ooh, sweet. Hopefully show you all tomorrow on Comics by Night. You think this show's early? 5 a.m.
baby, Eastern time.
A lot of artists are going to bed. That is their night, which
Yeah.
is funny.
It's
That
just
is their
mid morning for Russ and Glenn, though. So it's all
Mid morning
good.
for them.
Yep, mid morning.
Yeah.
About 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always fun.
And there's Glenn, not one to say I told you so, but was
It
it was aliens. Had to be aliens. Had to be
Had to be.
something that caused that. Every other file in that document is fine, but that one, just that one page. And I'm like, why on earth is this happening? I know why it's happening to me, because I have a deadline to get the rest of this book that I'm doing done by for Andy, for AC Pritchard, to get it done by Friday evening. And I'm like, geez, they put me back. So if I can finish up 2 or 3 pages of inks a day, I'll be fine.
It's that
I'm still on
Studios
target.
update that did you in.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
It was the update, and yeah, it's always something. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to
You know-
update things. I like to keep things the way they are.
When you're talking about aliens, they're all going on with the news and stuff. They keep bringing up aliens. If aliens actually did come and visit us as like people, like I wouldn't be surprised if they just straight up landed in the Midwest.
Oh, they would, like right here in Indiana.
Yeah,
And they would just like show up at like a you know, like a flea market or something, like an Amish flea market, and no one would bat an eye. Like, yeah,
They're all shape shifting lizard people anyway, so we'll never know.
right.
They've been here for years.
We have a local politician. He's one of the state senators that lives here in Washington, owns a coffee shop I like to go to. And someone was like, yeah, well, you know, he's a Democrat. And I was like, well, you know, he's actually kind of a likable Democrat, right? He's like, seems like real, like moderate, like a real moderate individual.
Mhm.
And so I was like, well, I ran into his wife and I said, yes, who's a Democrat. I guess he might be the first Democrat I vote for in like a decade. You know, I said, I used to be a Democrat, you know, and they're like, oh, he's not a Democrat. He's Republican. And I was like, oh, really? And I was like, a Republican that people think is a Democrat and a Democrat that people think is a Republican, he must be libertarian. She goes, yeah, kind of. I'm like, sweet. And I'm like, yeah. So we do have one politician here that I've met.
What state do you live in?
Indiana.
Indiana.
Confusion. Yeah. No.
I live in a state of confusion.
Yeah. Constant state.
Every time we talk about states and what people live in, I'm always reminded of this old, there's this old show called Soap with Billy Crystal.
Oh, I love
yeah.
Soap.
It's a
Right.
classic show.
Right.
I just
Classic
rewatched
show.
it a couple of years ago. I loved it.
Benson got a lot of big
Yeah.
people in that. Yeah.
And they're talking about this couple where they're living in a state of sin. They're living together. And he said they're living in a state of sin. This guy goes, when did they move to California? And I'm always reminded of that. And it just cracks me
My
up.
father used to, like, the 7 kids, and you know, my grandmother lived in the house, so my father was always getting pestered, and he would always just go, I'm invisible.
I'm invisible. Yeah.
You remember
Yeah,
Bert?
I remember that. Yeah. I'm invisible.
I'm invisible.
We got
I've
Will
been
Pace in
fucked up
here.
before.
Forgot
Hail
all
Nerds,
about
Merry
that.
Christmas.
That's fun.
What a
stuff.
great show. Yeah,
I'm
what a
gonna have
great
to
show.
try that. Yeah.
I'm invisible. I'm invisible. I had a corrupt pen. Yeah, we read that one already. All traditional over here. Good for you, Marcus. I am not all
Yeah.
traditional, unfortunately. Well, it's so much more cost effective. Like I can charge $75-$80 a page, $100 a page, and for people and do just as good as work. And you know, we don't have anything to sell, but it's much more expensive for me to work traditional. So it's a cost effective thing for my customers, for my clients.
I think I've made myself draw more traditional this year than I have in the last 4 or 5 years.
I love it. There's nothing
I
like
got
the
a-
pencil
got a
on the paper.
sketchbook that I'm making, try to draw a sketch in whenever I can.
Yeah.
So just
There's
do
nothing
it.
like pencil on paper. It just, just feels right. And I think in this world of digital where everything is online, everyone's perpetually online, terminally online. It's just nice to get away from all that stuff. And
you
my
guys-
eyes don't hurt as bad.
Do you guys read comics on the computer, or are you old school? You want a book in your hand?
Book.
Old school here.
I can't. People
Either
send me
or.
PDFs. I'm sorry, guys. I can't read PDFs. You know.
for digital or traditional stuff. For me, because sculpting, the traditional actually takes longer. Like the hand sculpting stuff. Like I've done that for years, like polymer clays, like milliput and different two-part epoxies and things. But it takes way longer, much more effort than digital stuff.
Marcus says he's all traditional, probably because he's older than John. I'm not going to comment on that one. I'm
only 28.
Age is all relative. That's all I'm saying. It is all relative.
A girl on the subway offered me a seat the other day. I was like, I look old.
Come on, my leg still works, sweetheart.
The first things that comes to mind are like, what, am I pregnant?
Well, she didn't assume my gender. That she was very progressive.
This smells related to a sign-up page or mailing list.
Exactly.
It's always sign-up pages and mailing lists. People get Hojo ran into some issues trying to get that. We're eventually going to integrate that into Fund My Comic, but when we do, now we're in charge of the email addresses, and you can't use them for anything but Fund My Comic when that happens.
That's fine.
Right. But right now, like, we wanted to give everyone the freedom to own their mailing list. So if you collect your mailing list through MailChimp or another service, then you can email them about what's going on with you. But if we collect them for you on your behalf, you can only email them about what's going on with your Fund My Comic.
You're going to make that, and then I'm going to say, by the way, I'm on Indiegogo. You know what I mean? It's smart business.
Yeah, which is exactly why the other two will either get rid of you or shadow ban you because of improper use of their messaging system.
Right.
And so I don't want to do that. I'm like, look, that's not what it's about. And, it's nice to, I'm friends with Joe. Joe and I, we were doing the circuit for, promoting our team up book. And he's been doing comics for 20 some years, since the 90s. Right. And he was saying, man, I should have been collecting emails that whole time. Could you imagine the mailing list I would have if I would have been collecting emails and building my mailing list? And I said, yeah, big mistake.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it until I had Andy Smith on last week, and he was like, you got to get a mailing list going.
Got to get one, yeah.
FMC
is the future. I agree, Russ. And I'm going to assume that's Mike Wheeler right there. Kickstarter just funded $45.15 with 200 backers. Not bad for an unknown magazine. Can't wait to see how we do on FMC. We'll show it off today. There's some sexy covers on that FMC exclusive there. We'll check that out so people can take a look at that and maybe get their Christmas goose, their Yule log, if you will.
City?
That one is Comics Illustrated.
Oh, Comics.
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
How many magazines? Like 3 now? Three mags?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you could be digging ditch. Could be digging a ditch. I could be, and I'm not. Levi Skeen is here. Spokane, Washington here. Been up a while. Inking. There you go.
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Washington.
Joe says my father digs ditches. Yeah.
I dig through the ditches and burn through the witches.
Not the happiest fellow in the world. Yeah.
It's
Nothing wrong with a hard day's work.
Nothing at all wrong with that. Dave did a writing tips article in December's Comics Illustrated. It was fantastic. I bet it was. Perfect 10 is amazing. We've got Frederick Guamont in the house. Welcome. Good morning, guys. Frederick is going to be working on some stylistic stuff for the website here in the new year. We're excited about that. I think it's going to turn out pretty good. A lot of people have great things to say about Dave Brink. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's a gem.
Yeah.
Of the comic.
Good guy. I really enjoyed talking to him.
Merry Christmas, Kelly. That's my sister there watching from
Christmas.
Facebook. Dr. Mask is in the house. Hail, nerds. Wow. John, you're getting around. He is. Yeah, he gets around, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You don't want to know what he had to do to get on this show. Had to have a day off work. That's pretty much it. That's
day off work and say, "Hey, Luke, I'm off."
stress ages you. Luke is really 17.
Just 17.
There's a great joke going around. There's this picture of this old guy's, playing his 80s. He goes, I don't know what you're talking about. Ministry's not stressful. I'm 35 and feel fine. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. Randy is 21. Yeah.
I am. I'm not 21. I'm 29. So.
Yeah, and FMC, some reason our code does not like Mailer Lite.
I only look older because I've had to deal with Diamond in the past. That's all.
Anybody's ever had to deal with Diamond understands that. Man, we've got a great crowd today. Keep it coming.
These gray hairs.
We're going to go over some news this morning.
Before you do that, I want to. Oni 64 says this show reminds me of having a couple of pals together sitting on a bench with coffee and donuts, just conversating on current events.
That is what we wanted, and we hope that we live up to that hype.
That was such a nice compliment. I had to show it off.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Because I have coffee right now.
Yeah, just chilling out.
Take her. Yep.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna do that fun thing with the. Here we go. I love it. Crispy the bacon. All right. So right now, this is cool, exclusive. Kickstarter's Bryce Gold back with Steinberger and Mosher at Distillery. Imagine that. They're in the news a couple times this morning. Bryce Gold, who announced that he left his role as head of comics at Kickstarter on X, formerly Twitter, earlier this month, is now back with his former Comixology bosses. You might remember Steinberger. I believe Steinberger was the guy that quickly banned a book over there while it was in its last phases of funding. And they made their way over to Fund My Comic. I love this guy. This guy.
I can't really read the text there, but which one of the pictures is Steinberger?
He's not on there.
He's not on there? Okay.
No.
Because they all look like... is that the team there, or is we just random dudes?
That's Distillery people, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, one of the guys looks like... Yeah, exactly.
They do. Except for Rolando. Rolando Garcia looks pretty happy. He looks like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks like somebody I'd like to hang out with.
Those are the best kind of supervillains. You just don't see them coming.
Right, yeah. You know what? To be honest, I have supervillain status for some people. It's fine. Somebody's got to play the role, you know? So he's over there at Distillery. He didn't last long at Kickstarter. I wonder why.
We're all villains in somebody's narrative.
Yeah.
Just ask my wife.
Oh, I'm sorry. Gold. It's Gold right here.
Gold?
Bryce Gold.
Okay.
Was the guy right here.
Bryce was
it's
the
this
guy.
guy. This is the guy. That's Bryce. Yep.
The Emperor Ming looking guy.
Yeah. Yep. That fella. He joins the team.
Distillery, the company announced, we will have a head title at Distillery as well in an undisclosed role.
A head?
A head.
Do they got to give it or
The
take
hiring
it?
was revealed along with 5 others by Distillery yesterday.
What
Today.
does Distillery do?
Comic books.
Not whiskey.
They're a comic book company, or is it like another crowdfunding site?
No.
Publishing company.
Publishing.
Yeah.
They're comic books. They make comic books. Gold had been at Kickstarter just since May, when he joined the company after leaving Comixology as head of content,
Everybody
a
had to
role he
leave
took on
Comixology.
when
Anyway.
Mosher left the company in 2022.
Yep.
The Distillery co-founders also reunited with James Jackson, employee number 13 at Comixology, who was hired as vice president of engineering. Jackson, what? Engineering in a comic company? What?
There you go.
Well, we have
Everybody
technically a
needs a
site
title.
engineer.
Everybody needs a title.
We have a site engineer, I guess.
Jackson also led development teams at Freestar and Hearst.
Nice. Way to go, Jackson. Never heard of those places.
Yeah.
But I'm sheltered.
Hearst. We've all heard of Hearst. Anyway. Other recent hires include Rolando Garcia as lead front-end engineer, which means there has to be a following back-end engineer coming up.
Yep.
He previously held roles at Marvel.com and in Marvel Unlimited, and the Marvel Unlimited team, as well as Elysium Health, Scroll Motion, and Amplify.
So he's got a lot of web experience. He's going to be.
All the
I wonder
best-
what they're planning on doing.
all the best
all this
comics
web
come from
websites
Elysium
go
Health.
under.
Yeah.
Comixology went under. Marvel.com went under. You know, so why
It's
are
just-
we hiring the same guys
We're
over
not
and
sure
over
about
again?
Marvel Unlimited either.
Well, the
Failing-
question is,
failing
they're
efforts.
hiring a lot of web guys, right? So are they thinking of doing digital? Like, are they going to try to
Probably part of their plan, yeah.
probably?
But Kim,
Probably.
who previously held roles at Zendesk, CB Insights, and First Dibs as front-end developer. A lot of front-end going on.
Yeah, these are all web people. These aren't comics folks.
Sadie Page, who developed social media strategy at Steve Madden, was a product development manager at Alex Apparel Group as social media lead, with an emphasis on video production. Joseph Skinner, who had deep experience in workflows and digital product management from his time at Enthusiast Gaming and Progeny and Digital Remedy as lead CMS developer.
What kind of experience was that again?
Deep.
Deep?
Deep.
That's what she said.
You know, a lot of
Deep
these
experience.
titles here for these guys just seem like really made up, useless jobs, like anybody could do.
You get all of these names or all of these words, and you put them in one of those big bingo roller things, and you crank it a little bit, and then you pull them out one at a time.
Look, I had high hopes for Distillery. I really did.
Lead. Who's got lead?
But it looks like they're falling into the same mess as IDW has, as Heavy Metal did, with all of these just hiring your buddies. They're just hiring their buddies, it sounds
This is
like.
what happens when you're too good for vowels.
Is there like some kind of business strategy where you tank a company and then make a profit somehow?
It's called being top heavy.
Well, the
Yeah.
producers.
Yeah,
It's
5
similar
Other
years
to-
producers.
to write it off of their taxes. Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, okay, maybe that's the goal.
Oh, guys, hope you guys like this. Well, this is a Mark Brooks cover, by the way. Mark Brooks, who doesn't understand foreshortening of an arm.
Yeah,
Look
that's,
at that.
that's bothering my.
That is one of the worst.
Well,
Arms
it's his
from a
editor.
professional artist.
His editors really got the problem. Yeah.
That's one of the worst arms that I've ever seen. And they cut out the cooter part of this of a teenage girl, which is nice. I mean, it's full like cooter in your face. There it is. You can see it just. I know some people
that
had some problems
Spider
with
Woman cover where she's got her butt in the air was wrong. Very wrong.
that. It was wrong. Very wrong.
Yep. Okay.
Ghost Spider, aka Gwen Stacy, is moving permanently into the main Marvel universe.
Well, they
Earth
stopped calling her
616.
Spider-Gwen, huh? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Earth 616. Yeah, she's now Ghost Spider. In a new ongoing series by writer Stephanie Phillips and artist Chris Campana that will launch in April of 2024, Stacy originated in Earth 65 universe, where she rather than Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive spider and gained superpowers, but she has been moving back and forth between worlds in recent series. The new series started with her trapped in the 616. Sounds like a zip code, right? Where she must come to terms with the fact that the original 616 Gwen Stacy died years before. Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider #1, will go on sale on April 10th, 2024 from Marvel Comics with a cover by Mark Brooks.
That is the area code for New York, I think.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me of that, I don't know, parody about Scary Movie with the tiny hand.
Right,
It's like-
yeah.
Yeah, the weird, yeah.
So right after I started working on this new Spider-Gwen ongoing, I saw a little girl, Halloween dressed as Gwen and hitting some cool Spidey poses, Phillips said in a statement accompanying the announcement. It was kind of surreal. It was kind of a surreal moment to realize that I get to be part of Gwen's next big chapter, bringing her into the 616 and giving readers stories that make us rethink who Gwen is and what her role is within the new universe. Stacy got a boost in popularity from the animated film Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, in which she travels through the multiverse with Miles Morales.
See, this shows you how much these creators know about the past or the history of their company, because he used the term New Universe.
I knew about it.
And working for Marvel, you don't want to use those words.
Nothing new about it.
That's true.
Anyway.
All right. My friend Rob Salkowitz. Love this guy.
Like
he's
there.
He's telling some of the biggest business stories, comic business stories of 2023. A little recap here.
There's still a week and a half yet to go. So anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
It ain't over yet, baby.
Do you want me to read it? Go ahead.
All right, with a name like that, he could definitely be in like one of those World War II movies. So
He's got a nice name, yeah. He's got a nice name.
Silkowitz, take that hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what's really weird about Salkowitz here is at the beginning of the year, I was like, this dude's an idiot. And now I'm like, I kind of agree with him. So either he got smart or I got dumb. I'm not sure.
It's those drugs you're taking.
Must be those drugs I'm taking.
You want me to read
I understand him. Yeah, you go ahead and read it, buddy.
Scroll down a little. Scroll up a little. There we are. 2023, where have you gone? As another page of calendar flutters into the ash bin of history.
I love that, right?
It's time for the annual retrospective of the stories that shaped our industry in the past year. Here are a few that moved the needle. He used that expression too. Move the needle.
Move the needle. Yeah.
Anyway, the DM moves into the next half century, facing more uncertainty than ever. For the past year, we've been celebrating 50 years since Phil Suling and Joni Levis transformed the comics industry, first commercially and then creatively, by connecting fans, publishers, distributors, and retailers through the direct market. Gives them way, way, way too much credit for just wanting to be able to read and buy all the comics that they wanted.
Right.
But anyway, but as we end the year,
It's pandering.
Pandering?
Okay. Yeah, he's pandering to the retailers.
It's the pandering.
Randy,
yeah.
Could you have a? Could you sound like Stan Lee? Your voice is great. Could you do a Stan Lee imitation?
I certainly can.
Could you read this as Stan Lee?
Let me see where I left off. But in what is it? Connecting. That verbiage is so over the top.
Yeah, I know.
Connecting fans, publishers, distributors, and retailers through the direct market. But as we end the year, the typical howls of catastrophe are growing louder and more convincing than we have in over a decade, and driving a lot of fevered conversations. Excelsior. Sales of periodicals are sputtering. Inflation and other economic ills are taking a bite out of already thin retailer profits. And the collector's market is cooling. The glass is definitely half empty, but also half full. Half full of what, though? Anyway, stores that can embrace the tactics.
They can't even write.
There you are. Stores that can embrace the tactics of product diversification and transform themselves into destinations for next-generation fans are seeing healthy results. New publishers have entered the scene with a greater commitment to periodical publishing and direct market sales. And there have been some notable sales successes. Creators are pitching ideas right in the bid. Some more harebrained than others for saving the industry. And trade groups and distributors are helping share best practices. Will it be enough to offset a cyclical slump that feels worse than usual? What's going to be the story of 2024? That's going to be the story of 2024.
Is it really?
I was wondering why he didn't include a question mark there. Anyway.
So my problem already with this article is that his boss doesn't think there's going to be a direct market in 2024, nor do many of the people that read this website that are on the front lines of the direct market as retailers. Nor do some of the more realistic creators that are out there. And we're going to talk about another one that jumped on kind of the anti-woke bandwagon today, this week. Oh, they're trying to cancel him now.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I don't think they've been trying to cancel him since 1990, and for one reason or another, and he seems to be doing just fine. But to be quite honest,
But hey, there's a digital renaissance brewing.
Right. And here it is.
Last week, actually, I thought it was a couple of weeks ago, Amazon formally pulled the plug on Comixology, the winner of the first round of the digital comics wars of the early 2010s. Rolling the beloved service into Kindle may not have been as dramatic a case of brand self-destruction as Twitter, sorry X, but it felt just as arbitrary and stupid to squander the investment in goodwill that Comixology made in the industry.
Look, as a person who published on Comixology, I never got a check.
Let me check my shoes here. Okay, didn't step in that. It's all good. However, flowers are already blooming at Comixology's gravesite. New digital platforms like Omnibus, Global Comics, Mangamo, Azuki, and Manta are giving readers more choices for content, business models, subscriptions, ready to read, pay to read, pay to download, and reading experiences, while giving publishers and creators more ways to reach readers. How come we've never heard of those other platforms? I've heard of Global Comics.
That's the only one I've heard of.
The other ones, I'm like,
that's the only one I've heard. People's like, you should find a way to partner Fund My Comic with. I'm like, look, there's a lot of companies out there that are not going to want to partner with Fund My Comic because of our stance on freedom of expression and freedom of speech.
We should write all of those.
Anybody on there.
We should write all of those companies down, and at the end of next year, see how many of them are still in existence.
Yeah, I'll bookmark this.
I think that could
article.
be interesting.
So the reason we're not seeing, sorry to interrupt you there. The reason we're not seeing these companies or haven't heard of them because this is the first ad they're running.
That could be.
First ad they're
made their announcements. And
Luke,
distillery.
Your problem, Luke, is that you're platforming bad people. And I would just like to take this moment I'm taking a stance. I punch cannibals. I'm totally against cannibals in the comic book industry.
I hate cannibals.
And I'm anti-cam. So if you're not anti-cam, you're pro-cannibal. And I would just like to make that stance right here on Nerd Bacon.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
In the comic book industry.
We also are pro-Israel.
Let the barrage begin.
My comic.
No. And Distillery, founded by former Comixology execs David Steinberger and Chip Moser, just launched their promised digital platform with a unique angle.
Oh, so that's what it is. Yeah, there was a digital platform. Maybe it's an article I haven't gotten to yet. So they're they're doing digital. Great.
Still uncertain whether digital can ever shatter the 10 to 15% market ceiling, but for the first time in a decade, there are more companies leaning forward.
You know what? Arrow's got an idea that we've been talking about for 2024 that I think is going to shatter. I think it's going to work, and we're not talking about it.
Let's not
we
talk
don't
about
nobody
that
stealing our juju.
Until it's rolling in motion.
You didn't see anything. You didn't hear anything.
Not a word.
Not a thing. Let's just put it this way, chat. Those of you that are watching, next year when we make this big announcement, you're going to be like, oh, "This is so amazing!" It is so amazing.
I got to know when this was written, because he's way too optimistic for his own good.
The 18th.
Oh, wow, December 18th.
3 days ago.
That was only like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
This guy, he must have had this article for like the last 3 or 4 weeks sitting in his queue. He just hadn't released it.
He's changed a few details around before.
Well, he seems to be behind on the Comixology news a little bit. Media meltdown or temporary blip. Besides the strikes, the underperformance of tentpoles are not involving fashionable dolls, nuclear scientists, or kaijus, and the ongoing dramas shaking up Disney and Warner Discovery. This has not been Hollywood's finest hour. Yeah, they Disney officially took the top 5 in cinema of money losses this year, and only in this year, but of all time, just this year. Anyway,
Of all time this year.
of all time. Yep. From the comics perspective, it's easy to point to disappointing box office results from Ant-Man, the Wasp, Quantumania, The Flash, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Blue Beetles, and Marvels as signs that long-term rot may be settling in. Just long-term bad quality.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And unfortunately, it's leading to long-term apathy that
Look,
they're going to have a hell of a time getting past.
Anyone that was a comic book fan that was watching the Marvel universe as it was unfolding, right? We said this with the very, very, very first movie that came out in whatever that phase was with Iron Man. They said, you know, as long as they keep making the stories of the old ones, I said, but when they catch up to the stuff like the more modern stuff, no one's going to want to watch this stuff because those stories are boring.
Terrible.
And they're stupid.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
We said it back then. That was like 2 decades ago, right?
You're absolutely right. I said I didn't even know you, and I said the same thing. You know.
And
I
we
told
can
my wife
probably
walking out of the theater. I said, as long as they stick with the old stuff.
Oh yeah.
I said, but as soon as they get to the more modern stuff, they're not going to sell.
If you had told
after I
me-
left Endgame, I said, well, that era is over.
Yep. At the end of
Right.
Endgame, I was like, that was good. This is a good book, and unfortunately, they're going to make more movies. But you know,
Yep.
this is a good.
When I was in the theaters for Endgame, and that one scene where they did the whole, you know, the one scene with all the, you know, all the characters lining up and
All the girl power.
yeah, the MCU stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just like this. I'm just thinking to myself, this is like the death throw of American culture. This is it. This is the defining moment. We're done. We're not going to see. This is the fall of Rome.
I do think that's when the corner was turned. Yeah, that they want to blame Disney Plus for this, and that's not it. It's their entire attitude. Disney Plus could have some great shows, and Moon Knight sure had a couple of episodes that were really good.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a really bad show.
Put
But
a
anyway,
chick in it, make her gay. and
That's
lame.
it. That's it exactly. Give her
So
wings.
now I will be honest. I liked that version, but it wasn't the original by any means. But the original of that
of Moon
character
Knight?
wasn't very. Yeah, of
Yeah.
the Scarab, Scarlet Scarab.
I don't know.
Scarlet Scarab. Yeah.
I collected Moon Knight from the beginning, and if they had made Moon Knight like as an homage taxi driver, you know, just like a crazy guy driving his cab, beating up muggers and stuff like that, like that would have been awesome. Like
Yep.
like a creepy, mentally disturbed guy who's got 4 personalities. You know, they don't need to inject gods and stuff into Moon Knight. It's, you know, he was a Batman homage, and he was
Yep.
fine being street level, and that's the Moon Knight I love.
Actually,
But
an
I'm
old
old.
pulp,
I'm
an
a
old pulp
28-year-old
hero homage
and
more than a Batman. But if they would have crossed over with Jack Russell and tied in that Halloween special,
Yeah,
that would have been
would've worked too.
unbelievable, unbelievably great. Yep, what a great opportunity blown.
Guys, I'm gonna work. I just had an idea. We're gonna do a new book called Uber, where an Uber driver goes around and fights crime.
There you go.
Yeah,
Is he insane Uber
Uber
driver?
Man.
Hey, we can
No,
make him a
no.
character in the Fool's universe.
yeah,
That would be great.
yeah.
that
We
would
should
work.
do that. Yeah. No, he's not insane. He's just pissed off.
Have to come up with a different name for him though. He'd have to be Uber somebody. Uber Orville
Uberman.
or something like that. Uberman.
Uber pissed.
Ubermensch. Yeah.
I'm over pissed. Just going around shooting bad guys.
Uber pissed.
I've had enough. Like, and I even like know how it can start. Right? He gets robbed. Like he picks up a fare.
It's not.
And
It's
they-
not
and they
just that he
rob
was
him.
robbed. Yeah, it's not just that he was robbed. It's that they stiffed him on his fare, and
Yeah.
then gave him a bad rating.
No, here's what happens. He gets shot.
That's all.
What if he gets shot in the back of the head?
Ooh,
And then he survives and he gets freaking pissed off.
completely
so he
changes
goes
his
out-
personality.
It
Yeah.
totally changes his personality.
Yep.
It
Yeah,
got
the
him in
bullet-
the
They have to leave
no,
the bullet in his head. You know, they
There you
can't.
go.
They can't take the bullet out.
it got
and
him
that
in the
makes
medulla
it
oblongata.
all the time.
So he's like he'd have to wear extra protection on his head so it doesn't jostle the bullet into another section of his personality.
Yeah. There we go. We just created a new book, guys.
And it's probably
Chat,
going to
let
sell
us
better
know.
than Spider-Gwen.
Chat, what do you?
Uber.
What do you
Oh
what-
yeah, probably.
How about Goober?
Goober.
Uber
love it.
Mitch?
Uber
Guys,
Goober.
does this sound like a fun? Does this sound like a fun storyline? Let us know. Let me know. Let me know if we're onto something. If
I'm
not,
filing
Right.
paperwork
If you
for the
abandon it
trademark
this
this
He could be
afternoon.
Uberman, pedal to the metal.
I do
really
he
like
has a
Uber
crowbar
Goober.
in his hand or something.
I like the idea of a plate in his head so he can like headbutt people.
That could be too, yeah.
Perlmutter knew those Shuri action figures weren't going to sell. Yeah.
Oh my God! Tell me that that actress and that character wasn't the most insufferable character in all of the Marvel movies.
Oh, and what potential blown too, because she was really good in Black Panther.
Right? She wasn't bad. The character in the comics
Shuri.
wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. I get plate in his head. He picks up the radio where his fare is going to be, or the fare should be, or crime's going down.
Picks up
The radio signal.
telecommunication signals that he has
Yeah,
to wait through.
the police
Yeah.
radio. Yeah.
It could affect his personality too. He could be in the middle of a conversation. He completely switches gears to a different conversation.
Right.
And he beats him to death with the jack for pumping up the car.
The bullet can shift. He could be gay for an issue. Yeah.
We're
He's
tuned
like,
into
oh,
the
you don't
view.
have any money?
And a woman. Yeah.
The
And then
guy
the next
leaves
issue,
bed-
he's lame. There we are.
The guy leaves him no stars as a review. And he's like, "You want to see stars? You want to see here's stars, bang!" And then you can draw stars.
Yeah.
However, there were bright spots. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was a modest
Guardians of the
success.
Galaxy was good.
The
I enjoyed
animated
the last Spider-Man movie. You know,
Yeah.
even though they did multiverse stuff, which is I can't stand it anymore. But it worked.
It's
Is
really
it-
funny sitting back from, I don't know how long you've been reading comics, John. But from my perspective, they really screwed their universes, especially DC when they did Crisis, and turned everything down into one universe. And now everything's all multiverse again.
On my channel, I've been talking about how bizarre is that DC made this supreme effort that alienated a lot of readers. I mean, it also brought in new readers, but it destroyed like that uniqueness of DC. And nowadays, even my grandmother could explain a multiverse. You know,
Yeah.
it's no big deal anymore.
Crazy,
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's kind of overdone. I mean, I really like The Shift. So the movie that came out, it's multiverse related, but it was originally written like a decade ago.
Oh, I heard that was good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I saw- my
like
wife
the
and I,
short
my
films
wife
in it.
likes all the Angel Studios movies, so we went to see that, and we saw the Christmas special just the other day.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's,
I mean,
the guy who does The Chosen. He made 2 movies. He made 2 shorts. He spliced them together into one movie, and then this song.
Okay.
It was pretty good.
yeah. So I mean, I thought the acting was really good in The Shift. There, you know, obviously as a writer myself, there's a couple parts of this where I'm like, I would have done better. You know, I've kind of gotten to that point in my life where I'm like, I could have done that better.
Mhm.
And but still, I mean, it was pretty nice. I liked the ending. Had a good
That's one
result
of the
for me.
reasons why I stopped retailing. Is I kept reading the comics and going, no, I think I can do that better.
Yeah, the ending had a good resolve for me. You know, but it was all predicated on the multiverse situation where, I mean, a decade ago when they first were trying to make the movie, didn't have the funds to do so,
Mm-hmm.
was brand new stuff for most normies, right?
Mhm.
But now it's like, you know, because these big studios have the money to pretty much put out their garbage overnight. You know, that they'll write a script and a month later it's filmed, you know, or it's in filming, and it's ridiculous. Where, you know, when you do have an actually good story that requires, you know, years to get the funding to be able to make it happen, because there was a lot of the special effects that were in it. It wasn't a lot, but it was expensive. You could tell they did a good job. And so and you know, they paid some pretty decent talent to be in there, you know, and I'm sure they had fun making the movie. John didn't like it.
Yeah.
His wife did. I did. I liked it.
Mm.
John thought it was a hot piece of garbage.
I didn't think it was that bad. I just first off, once I knew it was multiverse, I immediately was
The walls
biased
went up. Huh?
against it.
Yeah.
So
well, it's
we
just,
talk. We talk a lot about, or people talk a lot about hating multiverse and stuff. What about like different realms and stuff, like the Mortal Kombat universe? Does that fall under multiverse stuff, or is that something else?
Yeah, it's still multiverse.
Probably.
Still
Yeah.
multiverse?
I'm not familiar. I
Realms?
don't know.
Like, you know, like different planes of existence.
Dimensions, yeah. It's all multiverse.
I think it's the same.
It all falls in that same bucket, yeah.
Okay.
Well, to me, a multiverse is there's different. You know, there's Luke Stones. You know, there's Luke's going with the evil goatee, and there's Luke going with an afro. That's to me is multi. But to have other dimensions where each dimension is different, that's, I don't know. Maybe that is a multiverse. I didn't think of it that way, but I just thought of it as like other universes. Like in my comic stories, there's other universes, but there's only one John's Long Box because the rules of physics are slightly different. So how can you have the same things? You know, you could
can
be the
say
next
that-
universe over. You wouldn't even recognize that you're on Earth because
Yeah.
things are so different.
All
Like
depends on how close to
sci-fi,
this
yeah.
universe it is, you know?
What,
I mean, if
like-
it's Earth, then it's a multiverse.
Yeah.
Okay. What if it's like a different planet or a different
That's
realm? Or
Then why does it have to be?
It's in
Then why does
space.
it have to be a realm? Space.
Yeah.
It could still be in the same
It's a
timeline.
different planet.
Yeah.
Crowdfunding to the rescue. Here we go. This is kind of amazing to see this on ICV2 for him to be talking
Yep.
about crowdfunding.
But you know they're not going to talk about. I guarantee he's not talking about Eric July. Well, here, if he talks about Eric July, I'll eat my hat.
You
know
haven't
they're
read
not
this
gonna
article
mention-
yet?
Not all of it. No, I skimmed it.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. 2023 was another big year for crowdfunding projects. Bad Idea is crushing it on Kickstarter with Matt Kint and Giorello's Save Now. Colleen Duran's adaptation of Neil Gaiman and Harry Pratchett's Good Omens raised nearly $3 million. And various other passion products by new and established creators are getting funded at a clip of nearly 80%. Good morning, Henry. How you doing? Newish crowdfunder Zoop, with more of an exclusive comics and collectible focus, is starting to scale up and delivered some nice results for fans of Howard Chaykin, new graphic novel Fargo, Conan the Barbarian, a new art book, and various benefit projects like Maui Strong and Comics for Ukraine. Crowdfunding got a lot of people through the pandemic and still seems to be a something. Scroll up.
Sorry.
No problem. Crowdfunding got a lot of people through the pandemic and still seems to be a core business strategy for small and mid-sized publishers. We're also getting closer to it being integrated with DM and bookstore distribution so that crowdfunding projects can reach a much larger crowd.
It has been for years.
Yeah.
People have offered retail packages with almost every campaign that I have seen. It's ridiculous.
Well, you have, again, that mindset from the retailers that has to be worked out because they've been Pavlovian trained by Diamond for so many years to only look at certain things and only go in certain things and not look at anything else. And this is good and that is bad and that kind of thing. That's, you know, it's going to take a while.
This take here is going to piss me off. I'm telling you.
Censorship is on the rise. I hate to end with a down note, but 2023 was one of the most chilling years and decades when it comes to censorship of comics and graphic novels. Organized efforts are underway across the U.S. and elsewhere to remove comics and other controversial content from the bookshelves of schools and libraries. He has not
As
looked
it
at that
should
content.
be,
What
yeah.
an uninformed opinion.
Yeah.
And to target librarians, retailers, creators, and publishers. And some
He's
of
like,
those
what's the
creators
most
and publishers
leftist
deserve
version?
it.
What's the most leftist version of this that I can take? Let me stand on that so that I don't get canceled.
That's what it is. Censorship is
Yeah.
a bigger problem than just comics, but comics are always on the leading edge because would-be censors don't need to strain their precious little brains reading a lot of words. They can raise objections merely to pictures that rub them the wrong way.
Like a little kid
That's-
given a blowjob.
Obviously, he hasn't read Genderqueer because he would not have used the word rub.
Right.
Anyway.
And just like that, when there was hope for 2023,
irrespective of content. Yeah.
He kills it. He kills right
The
there.
CBLDF had its work cut out for it in 2023 and 2024, an election year that brings out the scolds and demagogues in force, is likely to be even worse. There's a difference, a big difference between censorship and maintaining public decency standards.
Amen. Preach
Huge
that. Ring the
Yeah,
bell for yourself, Randy.
I got blocked by Patrick Zurcher on Twitter because I said, you know, a local community going to the PTA meeting and getting books removed is not censorship. That's democracy in action.
Yep.
You know, because the school, I said, you
And
telling a school in a state that you don't live in what books could be in their library is not how it works.
And again,
You
it's
have kids in the local community and the local people get together and say, we don't want this book. That should be encouraged.
and
you know?
again, that's a request to maintain public decency standards.
Right.
These
And a lot of these people that are crying about censorship haven't read those books. They don't know what the content of it is, or they don't think that it's so bad that some 8-year-old's going to get a hold of it. And
I also don't see them complaining that Huckleberry Finn got taken out because it has the N word. You know,
Yeah.
like you know, a local community. That's what it is. We can't have, somebody in Washington State telling a school in Mississippi what book should be in. That's up
Yeah.
to the local community in Mississippi. That's not censorship.
Well,
I could control what's inside my house, and the local community could control what's in their local school. And maybe I disagree with some of their choices, like Huckleberry Finn, for instance, or To Kill a Mockingbird, for instance. But that's none of my business. That's none of my business. That's their business. And
Right.
you know, we are a collection of individual communities that have the right to police their own communities. And what goes on in Washington State is not what goes on in Florida, nor should it be.
Look,
And
what really kills me is the hypocrisy. It's the hypocrisy. Because the same people that are so
Well, for you.
angry about genderqueer,
Yep.
they're so upset about genderqueer, they also, like, if they don't want Christian material being put anywhere. They
Right.
want to censor Christianity. They want to censor the preacher from the pulpit, but they don't want to censor what they want. Freedom of speech only works if you allow it for everybody. And that's why Fund My Comic is the way that it is. There's people on there that share views that I do not agree with. But that is neither here nor there.
You know, these I'm gonna call them clowns. Don't care anything at all about decency. You can see that with the Twitch fiasco going on, where like that is a younger audience. That thing is tailored to a younger audience, and they just did that whole like artistic nudity thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
that just, and then like what, a second later when they realized they could probably go to jail over it, they took it back, you know, like.
Yes. So the other thing that I
And again, technically, genderqueer should be it should be brought up on not profanity. What's the word?
Obscenity.
Obscenity charges. And the only reason they've been able to escape is on technicalities on both of the cases that have been brought before the court.
I just listened to a news report yesterday where they're trying to make it illegal for like a school to fire a teacher if they find out she's got an OnlyFans. Well,
See, technically, kids aren't supposed to be able to get up on there.
right, but their parents can get on there, right?
Yeah.
But it's last night we watched Friday Night Lights, and the teacher's a stripper, right? And they understood how taboo that was. We understood how taboo that was. You know, that was going to happen. Her 18-year-old students still made their way into the strip club on fake IDs. You know, but they're trying to say that what they want to say is that no employer can fire anyone for sexual stuff. That's outside of the workplace.
That's
Well, look, if you work at a church, if you're the children's director and you're going to gay burlesque and performing, guess what? You're not going to have a job, sweetheart. It's not going to happen.
Well, when I became a school teacher in the New York City public schools, I got fingerprinted, and they had to check my background to make sure that I wasn't a sex criminal. So
yeah.
You know what I mean? So don't pretend that we don't do this already. You know, we do it already. So, you know,
The last
I
few
don't know.
years,
I'm a free speech absolutist. Like, I don't know. Could a teacher be on OnlyFans? I never even thought of that until you just brought it up, Luke. So I haven't formulated my opinion yet. My gut reaction is kids shouldn't be able to see it anyway. But I'm also I'm not a teacher anymore, obviously. But like kids used to ask me, Are you married? Do you have a girlfriend? What's your first name? And my answer to all those questions was none of your business. The kids thought I lived in the school. They didn't know I had a first name. You know, they knew I had a car because they would see me get my car, but like, you know, it was done. I used to say, what does this have to do with 2 + 2 = 4? You know, and the kids would laugh. So I don't understand why teachers all of a sudden have to talk about their sexuality and their personal lives, you know.
Because the society.
I asked Mrs. Fry what her first name was. She said Mrs. You know, you know.
Society nowadays, they want to normalize all of the kinks and all of the weird stuff and all of the whatever that is like you can anti-Western values, because the West is built on Christian values. It's impossible to say it's not. And like they want to get rid of all of that so that they can just do whatever the hell they, I don't know. It's like, it's anti-Western stuff, man. It's one more pillar of the Western society knocked out, you know, before the whole thing comes tumbling down into chaos and Sodom and Gomorrah.
A teacher's standard answer should be none of your business to anything that isn't curriculum related.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should be.
Exactly right.
Should be. Here, let's get to the next article real
Instead,
quick.
they probably write their OnlyFans address on the chalkboard anymore.
That's the problem. Yeah. That. You know,
My
like I
last
said,
couple
like,
of years of teaching cartooning before the bug hit, I was fingerprinted, my background was checked, and they still had a teacher in the room at all times. And I was fine with that. I didn't have anything to hide, but
I also
was
think
happy
there
to do
should
it.
be cameras in the classroom so the parents could check in.
Yes,
You know?
there should be, absolutely. Yep. Especially for the parents.
You know, because it protects police officers. Like I remember the police were against the personal body cams.
Yeah.
And now they're finding out that it's exonerating the police from a bunch of people. Of course they're going to lie and say the cop was abusive. It's so easy because people want to believe that kind of stuff, and the police are getting exonerated. And I'm like, you know what? Throw it in the class. What I believe it or not, when I was a teacher, I had an after-school Dungeons and Dragons club, and I was naive, I guess, at the time. I didn't think of it. A couple of parents thought it was like satanic or whatever.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the parents wanted to come and sit in a session. I said, yeah, sure, come on. And it was funny because I think they were ready to fight with me. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, sure. And this one woman sat there on a rocking chair. I had a rocking chair in my class, and she was, and afterwards she goes, that was fun. I thought that cat, like she got into the story. I thought that guy was going to get killed by the goblins. And you know what I mean? She got into the story. She didn't know what it was. And she probably just saw it special on some news from 30 years ago or whatever. So yeah, parents, cops, any cop or any teacher that's against cameras, to me is doing something shady.
It's nice that she had an open mind, because she probably did go in there.
Well, she went in
ready,
there
ready to argue, and then she had an education that she deserved.
You know what?
Yeah,
and she was a good mom. Her kid was a good kid. I had no problem.
Well, there was a couple that worked at the school that were on OnlyFans that actually filmed their activities in the building. So
it's like the Senate hearing.
I was about to say, and then they went to work for the Senate.
Oh gosh, yeah. Let's not even go there. That was.
What's that meme? Flooded again.
Flooded again.
Flooded again. Let me find it.
I'm sorry, Whiskey. You're so quiet. I can barely hear you.
Oh, can you hear me? I said flooded again.
The old joke of, hey, kid, got any nude pics of your mom? Want some? Is more relevant today than back then. Yes, it is. Thanks, villain. Absolutely. Yeah,
I would
cameras
just like
in the
to say, if
classroom.
anybody has
Cameras.
nude pictures of me, I'm sorry. Go check your eyesight.
All of our public servants should have cameras.
Yeah,
I think there needs to be all of the school board meetings, all of the city council meetings should all be more than televised. It should be readily available for anybody to pull up streaming.
And in this day and age, there's no excuse not to do it.
None. So everybody needs to be made accountable, especially people in the public eye.
Yep.
Fantagraphic Books announced a new deal with Lunar Distribution. Going forward, Fantagraphics comics, graphic novels, and other items will be distributed to comics retail via both Lunar and Diamond Comics distributors. That's the way to go. Yep. Diamond was previously Fantagraphics' sole distributor to the direct market. We believe that retailers should have multiple distribution options when making their purchasing decisions, and by joining forces with Lunar while continuing our long-standing relationship with Diamond Comic Distributors, we can best contribute to a healthy and robust direct market that has proven essential to the evolution and vitality of the comics medium, said Fantagraphics VP and Associate Publisher Eric Reynolds in a statement accompanying the announcement. Good for you, Eric. Those kids of OnlyFans models have a rough life ahead. Yes, they do.
Yep.
Nobody really understands or realizes the social impact of these platforms. I was just watching a video on that the other day, where the population is stalled or I hate to use the word stillborn. That's a bad choice of word. But in a lot of countries now, they have zero population growth, and the population's getting older at the same time. So it's really interesting.
Yep.
Japan, it's a big problem.
Huge problem. And Italy's the same way.
There was,
And as the population gets older, there's fewer and fewer younger people to take care of us. So there's going to be a problem.
There was a YouTuber, I think it was Tim Pool. He was talking about a lot of this new technology coming out, like AI girlfriends and all this, are just absolutely going to drive men insane. Just over the
Yeah, Whiskey, you need to turn your mic up or your gain up.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
You
I'm
got
sorry,
low.
buddy.
You got low on me too. Just
yeah,
then.
one sec.
No problem. But yeah, it's really sociologically, it's going to be a huge problem that they have no idea how it's going to sort out. Ronan says, "Hit that like peeps. Hit that like button,
peeps.
folks. Hit it, peeps.
Hit it, peeps. Hit it.
Hit it, peeps.
Make it happen.
But yeah, that's a sensible thing for Fantagraphics. Good on them. And if you haven't seen Fantagraphics stuff, they do great reprints. They do the unusual.
Big fan
Big
of
fan.
Fantagraphics.
Yep.
They do some
Love
good
and,
stuff.
Love and Rockets is classic. If you've never read that, it's great stuff.
Oh, I'm a Love and Rockets freak. I've been messaging the Hernandez brothers like once a month since I
There you
started
go.
doing chats with people, trying to get them on my channel. Oh man.
Their stuff always has some Fantagraphics. Usually, always has some sort of relevancy to anything that they print. They also do great comic strip reprints as well. Their Thimble Theater reprints are just immaculate, just amazing stuff.
I'm trying to look over here. I think I have a bunch of reprints. There's Peanuts, Rip Kirby, just a lot of news strips reprints. Great company.
Yeah. Mike points out South Park came out with an OnlyFans special on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Something more for me to watch. For immediate release, ICV2 added a fourth social media network where its news feed will be available. Blue Sky. I'm sorry. Blue Sky. The new social media app developed by former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey has gained traction over the past year. Anyway, despite the fact that it's still in beta and new signups are only available by invitation.
How's it sound now? We good?
Much better.
Much
Sound good here.
We can see what's happening with our feeds, that there's some migration happening in the social media place. Yeah, the polarization continues. ICV2 President Milton Griepe said in conjunction with the launch, "We want to be where our readers are. So have added Blue Sky to Facebook, LinkedIn, and X, formerly Twitter, as always as ways for readers to follow us on their favorite apps." Of course, all social media apps curate your feeds according to algorithms that fit their purposes, which likely are not the same as yours. So the best way to make sure you don't miss anything on ICV2.com is to subscribe to the ICV2 Daily Insider email newsletter. Of course. Hashtag always be promoting.
Does anybody else see this word and just get aggravated immediately?
Every week.
Oh my
To
God.
for vowels, we call it. Yeah.
Every week.
Oh my God.
Here it is. I should have started with this.
I don't want to have anything
There we
to do
are.
with it just because I can't stand it.
Yeah. It's definitely a turnoff when they can't use vowels. Vanna would be so upset.
Yeah.
I guess they can't
telling you
afford
right
to
now.
buy a vowel.
I like to buy a vowel.
Oh.
Screw that.
That reminds me, Wheel of Fortune is looking for applicants. Right now, they're going to hold a Marvel Comics Week,
Oh, nice.
and they're
To
looking for
replace-
contestants. So
to
there you
replace
go.
contestants. Okay.
Yep. That'll be
Dan-
great.
Is Dana White still doing the thing?
Van
She's
is
still
still,
doing
yeah.
it.
Vanna White?
And Pat's here just for this year, and then after that, what's his face from American Idol takes over.
Hey, Phantasmagorical. How you
I'm old
doing?
enough to like Wheel of Fortune.
Vansa?
Sorry. But anyway,
Long
Hey,
time no see.
yep. I already showed that.
You showed that one already? Okay.
Yep, sure did. Nope, I got rid of it. There we are.
We need another social media platform like a fish needs a bicycle.
Needs a bicycle. Amen.
Yep. Amen to that.
Dr. Mask. Bell for you.
If all the nuts leave X, that's a net gain.
That's a nut game.
Right.
There you are. You're
Watch
left
the blue hair show up and get all
just
the questions right.
polarization. That's all it is. We don't
No,
like
just-
Elon, so we're going to start our own.
No. The worst case scenario is I go on Wheel of Fortune. They do Marvel Week, and it's all questioned from the past 2 years, and I get everything wrong. And everybody
I
who
expect
watches
it.
me is like, "This guy knows nothing about comics."
Yep, there you go.
You know, they're just going to have words like Excelsior, and it's just going to be phrases and names of things that
It'll be
everyone
great.
should. It's only be taken from the movies. They're not going to know anything.
The
Ask me
camp
about
would be
Gene
rampant.
Colan, guys. I can answer. John Buscema, come on.
Distillery launched the beta version of its desktop digital comic reader on December 6th of 2024. Launched the
Launched.
beta version?
Launched.
Launched it
Yeah.
in
Launched.
2024.
It's December. Yeah.
Editors, get them with the
On the ball.
anthology.
On the ball. On the ball.
With the anthology, The Devil's Cut, at the launch title, as the launch title. Don't try to buy it today, though. It's gone. Distillery's plan
it's not coming back for
to
a year.
make each issue available for sale for 1 week at a time, replacing it with a new issue every Wednesday. Once the collected edition is available in print, it will be widely available digitally as well. Don't try to buy it. It's gone. Omnibus is one of the new digital comic
Oh, here we're
services
getting an explanation.
that
Look
has
at this.
sprung up since the
Sprung
demise
up.
of Comixology. And IDW is the latest publisher to get on board. That brings licensed properties like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Sonic, as well as IDW's original properties and top shelf titles. I think it's funny, IDW's original properties, they don't mention any of them because nobody knows what the flip they are. To the service, Omnibus also carries comics from Image, Dark Horse, Boom Studios, and others. You know what? Now, to be fair, IDW's original properties might be really good, but they don't promote those. Like, how do I
30
find
Days
out
of
about
Night,
those?
right? Wasn't that originally IDW?
Maybe was it?
Yeah,
Anybody
I
name
think
three?
I
What?
think 30 Days of Night was one of their first comics, and that was phenomenal. You know, IDW
yeah, I
came out
think you're
like a
right.
juggernaut, and
Yeah, that's right.
through mismanagement, they're reduced
That
themselves.
whole the writer on that's just dropped out of sight, hasn't he?
Well, he
Nobody
pub-
knows where he ran off to. He did a couple of movies and then disappeared. I could be wrong. The
Marcus
digital
loves
manga.
Elon.
Yeah,
He loves him.
he's got a job at GIGA Texas
Elon confuses me. He's
as an
like,
engineer.
in 1 minute he's like promoting free speech. The next minute he's hiring a W or EF CEO.
Mhm.
You know, and like banning people off Twitter and stuff like that.
We all make mistakes.
I guess, I don't know.
The digital manga site Bookwalker posted its top 50 ebooks, manga, and light novels of the year, and the results skew heavily towards isekai, stories of being reborn in another world. The top 5 were volumes of Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, So I'm a Spider, So What,
So what?
Ascendance of a Bookworm, and That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime.
Oh,
All light
I
novels.
thought that was just me.
And
Light-
don't
light
and
novels.
don't toy with me, Miss Nagatori, which is manga. What is the right pronunciation on that?
Manga.
Manga.
There's no edit. The digital manga site, and then it says which is manga. Come on, guys, get an
Right.
editor.
Bookwalker is owned by Katakawa. That's a fun name, but carries manga from the variety of publishers. Webtoons has hired David J. Lee as its chief financial officer and chief operating officer, and promoted Young Soo Kim to Chief Strategy Officer.
If you come
Lee
on board,
comes
we'll
to-
give you 2 titles.
Right. Lee comes to Webtoons from Impossible Foods. Is that where they make everything out of soy? Yeah,
That's
it is.
where I get all my best comics is from Impossible Foods.
Whereas COO and CFO, he oversaw the launch of the Impossible Burger.
Not the UFO. Okay. Oh, the Impossible Burger. There we are.
Young Soo Kim came to Webtoons in 2022 from KKR. That's really close to something
Radio
else.
station in Korea.
KKR. Oh, that's a little
KKR.
too close.
Ku Klux Klan. Oh no.
Yeah, no, I'm allergic to all the Impossible Burger stuff. They put stuff in it too that I can't eat.
Wonderful additives.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Probably one of the legumes or something they use. But like, I'm waiting for the day when somebody slips me an Impossible Burger and like I swell up like a giant potato and get a nice
hope
little
not.
paycheck.
Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld. What's the rest of the headline? Warns comic industry is going to have a huge collapse in 2024.
Here's another one.
Bum,
Another
bum,
one's saying it.
bum.
Of course, they're not talking about him. They're not talking about.
Can you move
There's
it
so
over
many
just a hair?
things that there's so many things
There.
that ICV2 misses. They don't. It is so much like watching CNN. And then a site like this, which is great, Fandom Pulse, is a new site.
Well, these sites are so, again, they're polarized. They're either, they figure they're liberal or they're conservative. Nobody wants to report straight news. And it's so difficult. Like, for example, I posted on Facebook an article from Cosmic Book News and got railed for doing, I didn't know you were one of those people. It's like, well, where else are you going to go and get news?
Right.
It's just
What are those people?
They were attacking the platform. Yeah, exactly. They were attacking the platform that the news was coming from, and not the actual news itself.
So
Very
what
much like here, they're shooting the messenger instead of the message.
Yeah. What is those people? What does that mean?
Those evil CG people.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously, Cosmic Book News is a CG.
They're probably pro-cannibal people.
I haven't even heard of Cosmic Book News, honestly.
Oh, you probably have. You always
I
read
probably
it as
have, yeah.
Comic Book News. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Several mainstream professionals in the comic industry tried to make the case that everything is fine for comic sales, complete with false data that appeared on the surface like the comic industry was growing. However, now Rob Liefeld has posted that he knows of major cuts coming to Marvel and DC Comics in 2024.
So I will say this: the proof they're posting is they're showing this boost in sales for 2022, 2021, 2022. But what they're not incorporating is that Scholastics, so like YA and those kind of books, were then started to be included, like Dogman was included in those sales numbers, which prior to that they had not been.
As was the manga books as well.
Yes,
I
right.
got into a Twitter argument with Rich Johnson, and he was like, "Oh, comics are doing fine." I said, let me just ask you that: has anything changed in the data collecting process since, say, 2018 to now? And he was being so evasive about it. I said, "Yeah, you're including young adult books." And he goes, "Well, those are comics." I said, "So, if back in 2018 and now we include other things, is there anything else that's comics?" I said, because we were talking about Jim Henley's Universe going out of business. I said, so they're doing it wrong by not selling Dogman. I never met a more disingenuous journalist in my life.
And you haven't talked to a lot of them then.
Yeah. Sorry for being late, guys. I know this is gonna get clipped, but I was grooming my dog. So
Grooming your dog,
yeah, I had to take care of that before coming in.
falling down a deep manhole. Ford are not that happy about Hyundai doing well.
Yeah.
They are not. No.
I mean, starting from the fact that Henry Ford was a real partial to eugenics.
Oh no, it's Pedro.
It's Pedro.
Glenn Fleming used snob.
The alarm bell sounded 2 weeks ago for the comic industry when comic shop owner Glenn O'Leary went viral with a rant about the state of comics. A video clip went viral where he made it clear that he's had enough of self-insert characters and hack writers and that he's unable to sell products. Rather than listen to the owner, the industry attacked him, trying, as they often do, to label him a bigot. Like a superhero fan favorite writer Mike Miller swept in to defend Glenn, coining the term cancel pigs to address those in the industry who would hurt a shop owner for voicing his frustrations with sales. Miller tried to devise solutions for the comic industry, setting off several conversations on the state of comics.
I mean, this is an echo of 2019, just different characters, but this is the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Liefeld was one of those who chimed in, who made a point about woke comic Twitter, pointing out that they never have any solutions to the problems in comics. He also mentioned these people who seem to be similar to the cancel pigs Miller discussed are to be avoided.
Yes, he did.
He received such a backlash from industry insiders that their shills that he eventually deleted the post. Even though he stated what many comic fans thought. Liefeld also has a podcast where he covers different topics regarding comics, from comics history to business strategies. It's one of the best podcasts out there. Have to back that up and say, yes, it is. He's not being shy about how his contributions to comics were vastly more well received than most modern books. The worries for the comics industry still raged online, which is when Heidi MacDonald posted her damage control for mainstream writers and artists. However, she failed to mention that almost all industry growth comes from foreign manga and YA books, like Dogman, floppy comics, the comics shop staple, have declined or stagnated over the last few years.
I love the adjective foreign. Like that makes me feel like the enemy.
Back in the 70s, DC Comics imploded. They called it the Great Implosion. DC cut out any title that was selling less than 20,000.
Ooh.
Nowadays, if they were to do that, they'd lose 3/4 of their line at least, if not more. Despite the facts showing Marvel and DC Comics to be massive trouble, massive, I printed under that title, anyway, as Massive Comics, dozens of mainstay industry pros who are responsible for the poor sales posted gloating about how the comic industry wasn't actually in decline. Liefeld then posted this to Facebook, completely counter to McDonald's narrative, stating, "If you see the old guard making a lot of noise of late, purposefully being more vocal, there's a reason for all of that. Should be better understood in early 2024. Hashtag consolidating.
Ooh,
I mean, he knows something we don't.
I
don't know if you guys
stuff coming.
Yeah, but I don't know if you guys are aware, but Warner is going to merge with Paramount. Like they're in talks right now.
With
So
who?
this consolidation with Paramount.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
They might be joining with Paramount, but they're all making themselves look pretty for Universal Comcast.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like this consolidation is going to be serious, and a lot of people are going to be.
It's going to be a double gulp probably in the next couple years. Yep. He further elaborated in a comment, "I'm just an informed observer," which obviously, ominously suggests he has inside information to back up his claim. Liefeld implies that the comic industry will undergo major layoffs and restructuring, like they haven't already. Yeah. This echoes statements made by several people over the years about the comic industry hanging on a tenuous thread, including Cyberfrog creator Ethan Van Sciver famously predicted in 2022 that DC Comics would shut down. SOS. Whether this chain of events from Miller and to McDonald prompted Liefeld's post is unclear. Still, it appears he's commenting on recent events on Facebook and how the whisper network of cancel pigs surrounding Marvel and DC Comics are right to be afraid. After talking to nearly any retailer, comic sales are in the toilet, and they are not looking to get better soon. What do you think about Liefeld's statement in the comic industry? Leave a comment and let us know.
Guys, you really should check out this new website called fandompulse.com. I will be a contributor over here. I've just been so busy with all my deadlines for the holidays that I've not really been able to crack into this. So I really hope to be able to start contributing some articles here very soon. A lot about comic news.
Is that where that article was from?
Yes. Fandompulse.com, guys.
Right.
This next article is from fandompulse.com as well. Activision Blizzard settles civil rights lawsuit over sexual misconduct in California.
Ooh.
This is interesting. The California Civil Rights Division.
How bad do you have to be to get charged with sexual misconduct in California?
Right.
Yeah, really.
The state of sin. The California Civil Rights Division and Activision Blizzard have reached an agreement in response to the latter's allegations that the company had become a breeding ground for harassment and discrimination against women. A settlement fund of approximately $46 million will be established to compensate workers affected by toxicity and discrimination within the company, primarily women who worked for or were contracted by Activision Blizzard in California between October 12th of 2015 and December 31st of 2015.
That's a real small window.
That's a real small window.
2 months, less than 2 months.
That they had a guy. I'm
They must
guaranteed
have
they
had
a
somebody
guy.
up there.
They must have had a guy, and they apparently got they shipped him somewhere.
Sounds like the
Or a
Halloween and
woman.
Christmas party got out of control.
Could be
Yeah.
that too. Could have been
Back
a
in
woman
20
as well.
Back in 2015, Activision Blizzard was facing multiple allegations of sexual harassment in the workplace. And workplace misconduct, including allegations of male employees drinking excessively and making rape jokes, as well as a story about the Cosby suit, where
Sweet.
one
It's a Cosby suite.
the Cosby I'm
I'm
sorry, I read
One
that wrong.
executive known for his
Yeah.
unwanted sexual advances harassed
So-
women, and another about a female employee who committed suicide after colleagues shared a nude picture of her.
Whoa, okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
that's
rough.
dark.
That's
That
bad.
got dark real fast.
Yeah.
Really quick.
Ooh.
Whoa, crap, man.
Yeah.
Oof, 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 oof.
You know, they
That
need more than
company.
a friggin' 60. Well, man, that friggin'. All right, that.
That's why that window is as small as it is.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
and they're like Activision Blizzard, same people they championed all the woke stuff too. So it's just as soon as
Yes,
that veil
yeah.
comes up, you know.
Their virtue signal light
It's-
probably
it's-
came in right at the start
it's
of
always
2016.
It's always the most woke, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
So I watched this new movie last night. It's got Mark Wahlberg in it. It's called The Family Plan, where he was an ex-assassin or whatever, and his group was coming back to get him, and in there, his daughter apparently is dating this guy. You know, a little bit of a spoiler here. That is like uber woke, right? And they don't like her personality being around this guy, you know, whatever. And they're like, you're different. Like it just feels like Trevor's in the place with us. And I was like, as soon as I heard his name, I was like, Trevor.
Yeah.
Sounds like a douchebag.
Yeah.
Turns out I was right. Well, she winds up like surprising him at his college, and he's cheating on her, right? And he's like, monogamy is a construct, by oppressive. And she's like, right, whatever, of course you would say that. It's always these most woke and liberated of people that just turn out to be the worst pieces of garbage that I've ever met.
Yeah.
So whenever
You know-
anyone
the
comes to me with that,
stereotype, like the left always brings up the stereotype of the preacher that preaches against, gays. The gay people doing this, and they're like, that guy's always a closet gay, and it's like, well, it's the same thing. It's always the people that are proclaiming their virtue that are always the biggest pieces of crap.
They take that virtue signal light to shine it away from
Right.
them. So you don't
Like
look
that.
at what they're
Exactly.
doing. Yeah.
When
They got
I
the
hear a guy
biggest
like, I can't
skeleton.
stand the gays and blah, 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 the gays, and then like, yeah, well, that guy's dealing with demons inside of his head. The same thing, anti-Nazis,
Yeah, those demons are shaped like,
RJ,
so
we're
it's-
always
it's the same
archived
thing.
over at the Luke Studios channel.
Projection.
And you can always watch nude bacon, nerd bacon at your leisure.
Nude bacon. That's
Join
the
us
new
on
bacon.
only.
That-
Nude
Join
bacon
us-
is
Luke's
after
only.
dark.
Join
That's
us on
Luke's
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans
Nude
account.
bacon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nude bacon.
Bow, chicken, bow, bow. Nude bacon.
Oh, wait till I
It's
tell Beth about
greasy.
that one.
Cow chicken.
Slick.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Brown chicken, brown cow. That's the sexiest
Wait,
animal.
wait, are we doing nude bacon? Are we?
Ah,
Nude bacon. It might
it will
happen.
be slick
Nobody wants to see nude bacon here.
and
No.
slippery. Yeah.
Bacon's always nude.
Their entire life and outward presentation is a massive projection. Some
Yeah.
serious darkness.
Yep.
I do believe it. I do believe that.
How
The
can these male
DFEH.
feminists turn out to be the biggest creeps in the world?
Oh gosh, you're right.
Those
The
are-
DFEH first detailed the claims in a complaint filed in July. And in September, California Equal Employment Opportunity Commission responded by filing its own lawsuit. The case quickly devolved into a turf war between federal and state agencies.
We want them.
resulting
No,
in-
we want them. No, we want them.
Right.
No, we
Everyone's
want 'em.
like,
Yeah.
let us have them. Let us have them.
Smell that
Resulting in Activision's preferred outcome, a settlement that removes some uncertainty about its liability stemming from widespread allegations of sexual harassment during Microsoft's $68.7 billion bid to buy the company.
Mhm.
The Wall Street Journal broke the news of the settlement, citing sources who say that CRD initially sought a settlement of more than 100 million, aiming for a payout of the same level as similar lawsuits in May of 2023. 1,548 women were compensated from a class action lawsuit filed in 2018, alleging gender discrimination, sexual harassment, and toxic work environments at Riot Games. Currently, the largest that state agency has reached. Wasn't Riot Games, was that where that lady that worked that posted, shared, was like friends with Ethan Van Sciver or followed him or whatever on Twitter and got fired? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Probably right.
I can't remember where that was.
She's
Yeah.
working with Rip, I think now.
Ripa now. Yeah, working with Ripa. I think that's right. I might be wrong. Don't quote that as news. That's just me trying to remember something
This-
that I heard.
This included receiving unwanted images of male genitalia from bosses and coworkers and an email thread about how to penetrate a female coworker, and an alleged list circulated among senior leaders detailing who they'd sleep with among the female developers. The settlement was approved with court filings indicating payments ranging from $5,000 to more than $150,000 from the $100 million settlement for the League of Legends company.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Ka-ching.
That's bad. Holy cow, that's bad.
Somebody got paid.
Here's my wang, and here's how I would penetrate a woman. This is not health class, you moron.
No.
In a previous settlement with the EEOC, Activision Blizzard addressed allegations of its own sexual harassment and discrimination within the organization. The settlement included an $18 million fund for qualified plaintiffs. Additionally, the U.S. SEC looked into workplace misconduct, which led to a $35 million settlement. The lawsuit is thought to be the first move in Microsoft's takeover strategy, which would catapult the company to third position in the global video game publishing ranking, behind only Tencent Holdings and Sony Group. Activision will also donate any excess settlement funds to charities focused on advancing women in the gaming and technology industries or raising awareness about gender equality at work. According to the agreement, the settlement is subject to court approval, and the terms and figures could change. Okay, so I had just had an idea come to, if we really want to promote gender equality, that means all of the women need to share their list of who they would sleep with in the workplace.
That again would bring on another sexual harassment lawsuit.
I think it's only fair.
I think just mentioning it, yeah.
I think it's
Just
only
mentioning-
fair at
just
this
mentioning
point.
It would probably do that, yeah.
At this point, to do that, it reminds me of that scene in The Office, that Angela complained about the character. The actor's Brian Baumgartner. I can't remember his character's name for some reason. It escapes me. Brian Baumgartner's character. He said, she's complaining that, that you made sexually suggestive comments. So the only thing that's fair is, Angela, you have to make sexually suggestive comments to, and he's like, okay, I agree. Do it. I don't think it would hold the same weight. Do you? I don't think so.
Activision will also donate any excess settlement funds to charities focused on advancing women in the gaming and technology industries or raising awareness about gender equality at work, according to the agreement. The settlement is subject to court approval, and the terms and figures could change before the implementation. In a statement to GameIndustry.biz, an Activision Blizzard spokesperson said, "We are gratified that we have reached an agreement with the California Civil Rights Department today."
These are ratified.
Ratified.
Ratified. See, do I have another one here?
Marvel Comics censors 2 Predator stories from forthcoming omnibus for objectionable content.
Predator.
Marvel Comics has turned up their censorship game, but this time they're not complying morally with a comics code for children, but instead bending to the will of triggered SJWs as they've removed 2 comics from the forthcoming Predator Omnibus Volume 2 due to objectionable content. This isn't the first time we've seen censorship coming out of Disney's publishing arm, as woke censorship is rising and across the industry.
But censorship is bad. They'll tell you in the next breath that censorship is bad.
They certainly will. Yeah. Earlier this year, Disney pulled Scrooge McDuck's story from Fantagraphics collection, citing an ongoing commitment to diversity and inclusion. According to Facebook post from world-famous Donald Duck artist Don Rosa, Disney reportedly wrote in an email to Rosa that they would never reprint his stories, The Richest Duck in the World and The Dream of a Lifetime, in his famous life and times of Scrooge McDuck. Here's that post.
Which really means they're not going to be reprinting the life and times of Scrooge McDuck ever again.
Right.
Or if they do, it's going to be severely edited. And
it's a white duck. That's why. Like, I don't know.
It's really going to crimp into Don Rosa's money, which is what it is, which is why he's upset here.
I already see many people posting get well quick wishes in response to my announcement about Vancouver. I certainly appreciate it very much. But 10 seconds after I posted that, I received an email from one of my many publishers. This will give you something else to discuss. As part of its ongoing commitment to diversity and inclusion, the Walt Disney Company is in the process of reviewing their library of stories. As a result of this, some stories that do not align with their values will no longer be published. This applies to 2 of your classic stories, The Richest Duck in the World and The Dream of a Lifetime. Their stories will not be part of any reprints or new collections. I wonder what other duck stories are now banned. Maybe only mine, maybe not. But obviously, all 12 chapters of my Love of Money are now banned because they can't be published without the final chapter.
Yep.
I won't even comment on what this will mean to the collector market. Some of the original Donald Duck stories by Carl Barks in the 1940s feature Donald, Scrooge, and Huey, Dewey, and Louie traveling to places like South America and Africa and encountering natives there. This censorship appears to be about the depiction of the natives in those historical comics, which were intentional caricatures and parodies.
Yep, and parodies. That's back when the stereotype was the easy thing to grasp for,
Right.
That's why you'll never see DC reprint any of the Black Hawk material, which is absolutely gorgeous, done by Reed Crandall because of Chop Chop in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The new Predator.
With Ebony.
Right. The new Predator.
Luckily, they got all the archives out before everybody started screaming.
Thankfully, yeah.
The
new Predator. Okay.
Sorry, just more Orwell, Huxley, and crap.
But censorship is bad.
Censorship is bad. Yep. Right. Censorship is bad, but only when it's against what we want to publish. Mm-hmm. The new Predator Omnibus takes Marvel Comics censorship to the next level. The books taken out of the Omnibus are Predator, Hell Come a Walkin', written by Nancy A. Collins, with art by Dean Ormston, and Predator Demon's Gold, written by Ron Mars, with art by Claudio Castellini. The
Claudio.
original omnibus containing these stories was slated to be 1,048 pages and is now 992 pages. Predator, Hell Come Walkin' is a story set during Civil War, and as a sin against the woke, it features Union and Confederate forces joining together to fight off the alien threat together. Some of the language in the book is harsh, but time appropriate because Collins did her diligence to make it accurate.
What's wrong with history?
I'm called Jesse, not boy. See,
Oh,
look,
this is
yeah.
racist.
Zero truce flag, not surrendering. So put down the gun, darky. We ain't here to fight. Not you, leastwise.
Dare
My
people
name
to
is
say
Spartacus,
I'm
not Darky boy.
responsibilities.
I'm called Jesse, not boy. Yeah, get it? See, I get that. I mean, that's appropriate. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
That's time appropriate, yeah.
I get it.
People would be
That's
offended,
fine.
so we have to censorship.
Collins reportedly told Bleeding Cool if she knew of the censorship. Nope. Nobody tells me nothing. Then again, I've never seen a dime in royalties on that story, so I don't give up. Apparently.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't give up. Apparently, no one understands nuance in history or fiction nowadays. Give her the bell on that one.
Yeah.
The second story, Predator Demon's Gold, occurs during World War II. In this comic, the Predator hunts a squad of Nazi soldiers in South Africa.
Oh, no.
This one lowers the bar of censorship to an extreme level, which appears to be because of the inclusion of Nazis at all.
It's a World War II set. Like, can we
Ron-
just slap these people? Is that
Ron,
okay?
yeah, we should. Ron Mars commented on Marvel Comics censorship on X. Since a few people have asked, I have no idea why this Predator story by me and Claudio Castellini was removed. What?
Claudio.
Claudio
Yeah, Claudio. Claudio.
Castanelli.
Look, I'm white and from
Castellini.
Indiana. It's gonna happen.
From the omnibus, yes, it has Nazis. Yes, they are absolutely the bad guys and come to a bad end. So I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was literally beating up Nazis, and you know,
Yeah, the question is, why
It's got a Confederate flag. Oh my goodness.
he had an alien killing Nazis, and somehow it got censored. Maybe because they realize how close they are to the Nazis, and
Probably.
really all the Nazis were trying to do was genocide the Jews, which is really not a bad idea when it comes to the leftists in America who want to
Today, yeah.
champion Palestine. And you know, the language surrounding the genocide of Jews on college campuses, you know, it's only goes against their harassment rules if it's acted upon. This is the world we live in, guys.
Yep.
It is jacked up, and you wonder why we're like, we just want to escape into comic books. Then we go to our comic books and they do this crap. It's ridiculous. A third comic, Predator Race War,
No.
may also have been excluded from the omnibus, which, as the title suggests, features a gang race war inside a prison. Apparently, Disney and Marvel Comics think adults reading the comic wouldn't be able to handle such content. The story was never included in the contents, so that it may have been left out prior
You know,
to
I
the
can see
censorship announcement.
I can see one benefit to them banning Nazis in media entirely is maybe eventually these people will learn how to write actual stories.
Have different bad guys.
Maybe.
Yeah, have
Really,
different
it's a
band-
great way to forget the travesty or the tragedies that the party did in the first place.
You know, we've
So that
already
they
got
can be
Holocaust
repeated in
deniers.
history. Yeah.
We've already got Holocaust deniers out there, and this is only going to fuel them, I think.
It's just they always write the same kind of every bad guy in all their stories is always a Nazi of some kind.
As Dr. Ben says it best, Predator being censored for being against Zionism. Unbelievable.
With Marvel Comics and Disney increasingly pushing censorship on their readers, one can't help but wonder how far they're going with their main lines for their political agendas and what discussions creators are subject to behind closed doors. This marks another sad day for the comic industry as we are losing history to placate the worst cancel pigs who complain online. I love that.
Dude,
Very
I
good.
really love that name is stuck.
I do too.
Bell
Yeah.
for you. Yep.
Bully, bully, bully. All right. Now let's talk about some good stuff where we don't have to worry about censorship
Screw up the world
and
and force people into their retreats. Then chase said people into their retreats to further push their BS. It's psychological warfare at this point. Yep.
yes. Now we do have some censorship on this site, but it's only for against things that are illegal and things that are morally reprehensible, like child pornography.
Mhm.
We don't allow any of that stuff on here, but we allow a lot of really cool stuff on here. Now, we have been at this for a minute. John, before we get into kind of some of these campaigns and some of our wish list, I just want to talk about your show for a little bit
Okay.
and kind of what you've been able to pull off over there. So, John, how long have you been doing the long box? How long has that been going?
2.5 years. It's getting close to 3 years at this point.
Wow, how many episodes have you done?
Oh, I don't even know. I have almost 1,000 videos on my channel because for 2 years I just did 10-minute videos showcasing comic books every day. It's only been about a year where I started talking to people. I didn't even think about that when I started, and RJ from the Fourth Age invited me onto his channel, and then I was like, hey, this is fun. I like talking to people, and then so it's an evolution. It was just me talking about comic books because I wanted to talk about comics, and COVID was going on and everybody was locked in our houses. So it was just a good way to be social. And next thing you know, I'm on your channel and I'm talking to people and I'm making a comic book. It's been an evolution. It's been no plan other than, hey, I like this comic book. I want to talk about this comic book. Anybody else want to talk about this comic book?
I want to address this comment. I have had a few people message me saying that their comments aren't coming through on YouTube. So YouTube is censoring people's comments.
Wow.
That I have nothing to do with. I have nothing to do with that. Our mods have nothing to do with that. Our mods are normally there to kick bots and to really just address putting up links.
I see BA's comments on StreamYard.
Yeah, we're getting a few of them now. And you know what? Here's the thing. We can't police everybody's. We have one campaign we know that AI is being used. Well, AI was used as a tool. It was an art teacher did a card game, and to leverage for time and money, he used AI elements to build his card game. Yeah. So we do know about that. He's very upfront about it. I'm actually doing a hand-drawn card for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing with using AI is like be open about it.
Right.
Don't sell it as your art, and I don't have a problem with you using AI. I just won't call you an artist. But that's me.
There is a campaign that has several graphic novel covers where he's showing off the graphic novels that he's done. And those are all very painted looking. They very well could be AI. He could have paid to have those done from an artist. I have no idea. And so, only if we can absolutely tell that it was AI generated. But AI is getting better. It's going to be harder and harder for us to tell. We're going to try our best to police AI and not really allow any AI comic books up there because I don't think those need to be crowdfunded. If you're saving money on an artist, you certainly can just go and spend the money on the print run yourself from your own website. So you don't need that. So it's very possible. It's very possible. But again, we can't police all of that. And some of these people might be using AI to even write their books, and we won't know for certain until we read the book and find out if it's crap or not. I mean,
weep for the younger generation. A lot of these cats we talked earlier about, maybe it was last week or one of the shows that I'm on, we talked about these kids not believing in property rights for characters. The same kids are like defending the use of AI. They think it's like people aren't going to be able to compete. That's the reason artists are upset. And like you're like, no, it sucks. That's why we're upset.
It is a bit lifeless.
It's
Yeah,
lifeless.
and
It's,
not only that, Whiskey. Like I don't know, Luke. Like I have a question. This is a question more for you, because you're a
Sure.
musician too.
Yeah.
But have you seen this commercials on YouTube about like making music with AI?
I have, yes.
It's that same attitude as in anyone can be an artist. Look what I can do. Like, no, you're not doing it. Like, there's an AI that will make you the chord progressions for you, which means you're not really composing.
Well,
You're
there's
just
an
It's rough.
argument.
Yeah.
You know, there's an argument, and I see this a lot, where people talk about the mediocrity in independent comic books,
Yeah.
and that creator-owned comics are never going to outdo the mainstream because of the mediocrity that's there. Because anybody can make a book now. The price of entry, the level of entry is so low now, and I agree it is low, and I'm glad that it's a little bit lower than what it used to be. The cost of entry.
I think the standard of corporate comics has dropped to the point where they need to make a big rule about not being able to use Chat GBT, because a lot of that up there reads like it.
No, they do. You can't copyright any of that stuff. Anything that uses AI and stuff that can't be copyrighted, as long as the piece is entirely. But
they'll use it as a prompt then, and write
you
their
can
own.
modify it, right?
Just transcribe it over. Yeah. There's so many cheats, especially when it and that believe me, that writing is not up to any type of polished standard.
But the thing is, like, for example,
on the majority of them books.
Yeah, when I animate inanimated objects like cars and rockets and whatnot, I might build a model so I can see the perspective of the shape moving, but in the end I'm still drawing it. I'm not tracing. You know what I mean? So it's not a matter of turning your back on technology, but basically see how much of the work do you feel good after you finish it. That's the thing.
Right.
If you haven't done anything, there's this little like imposter syndrome that we all have as artists. Like, dude, I didn't do this. The computer did it. So maybe that's the gauge. It's on the sides of the artist. There's going to be a lot of people who's like, hey, I'm an AI artist. Cool. You're an AI artist, but you're not an artist. If I give you a pencil, your head will explode. So I don't know, man.
AI art is basically, to me, it's like ordering a pizza online. You've picked your toppings, and then the pizza comes to you, hand delivered, whatever. You've ordered it online. You put some cheese on top, and then you call yourself a chef. It's unearned accolades. You don't deserve it. Go back to school, pick up a pencil, and just get out.
There's a big deal going on right now, because there's certain restaurants. I think it's in China or somewhere, or maybe Canada, where they are serving 3D printed meat.
No.
Ugh.
That sounds like Canada, though.
Ugh.
Could be Canada.
Yeah, so their steaks are like stringy because it's 3D printed.
Oh.
I guess
If corporate comics, Russ would like to let us know that if corporate comics were using AI, they'd be better.
Well, there was a big push. There was a big push on the market to standardize how these scripts were written, and that was done intentionally so that they could Chat GBT it. So that they didn't go through. I mean, nobody wanted to approve it, but they were trying to push a standardized format for comic book scripts so that they could get it through Chat GBT.
Yeah, I will not knowingly buy or support any AI comic. Period. I think there's a lot of us that are like that. You know, I don't. I especially when it comes to comic books. Look, I'm not against people using some AI elements, but you can't copyright those images, because I mean that's the law. You can't. And I'm not against them using it for reference or things like that. Like, yeah, if that, it can save time on a Google search. I mean, I've got it on my phone, I'm like, here you go. I need a picture of a skyscraper or whatever, from Dutch Angle or whatever, so that I can, kind of look at it. And, it's just like Google searching, whatever. It's literally, it's doing the Google search for you and compiling it into the image that you're looking for,
Mm-hmm.
So AI is great for data collection. It's, there's a lot of good that computers can do you and a lot of good that AI can do you. But if you think that there's a lot of mediocrity in the independent realm right now, just wait till the end of 2024 when AI gets better. And a lot of people have gotten their Christmas gift of the AI music production software that's 90% off. So they got that for Christmas. They have time to make their album by the end of next year. You're going to start hearing a lot of crap music. You're going to start seeing a lot of crap art and books, and a lot of. It's just going to be. It's just
They're not already.
Most comics are crap. Most movies are crap. Most songs are crap. Most everything is crap. What's the difference? Between 5 years ago and now. People who are saying that most indie comics are crap. Well, you know what? Most mainstream comics are crap. Go look through anybody's record collection. Most of the songs are crap. It's with Sturgeon's Law. 90% of everything is crap. I don't see what. That's like a silly argument. That's like saying, we all.
This is a good question. Should someone who is paraplegic or otherwise disabled from being able to create art be prohibited from using AI to create a comic? There is no disability that I can think of that would keep you from working with the team to make a comic book.
I once met a gentleman.
I want to see.
Let me
if there's a quadriplegic artist, I want to see a picture of the chair. Yeah, I just want to know exactly what you're doing. I'm not telling anybody what to do. Just be upfront in the fact that you're not drawing. That's all. Like, I'm not telling anyone not to do anything.
Whiskey, what was that, bud?
I once saw a dude on the street corner, and damn good gentleman, by the way, like exceptionally talented, with no arms, playing guitar with his feet,
right,
and making crap tons of money. So there is no excuses. If that guy can pull that stuff off, I got no use your feet.
Let's talk about the AR-13L. So AR-13L actually started out as an AI generated post.
Yeah, I remember that.
But it also started out as a joke too.
It was a joke, right? Yeah. So I mean, it was great, but it inspired a book. And let me talk about Eric Hodson. Eric Hodson is disabled. His hands are wrinkled up like this, and that man is one of the best artists that I know.
Yeah.
Because if you want to create, Joni Mitchell was arguably one of the greatest songwriters of her generation, right? Joni Mitchell had a problem with her left hand. She was disabled. She learned how to play the dulcimer in open tunings and the guitar in open tunings so that she could write music. And she played and wrote on every song that she did. There is no disability that I can think of that will keep an artist from creating.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to use,
your feet.
Your feet, yeah.
No, but
or your wing.
I would much rather buy a comic book drawn with someone's foot.
Yeah.
Than buy one made by a generated prompt. I'm just saying.
The idea that AI for AI hands and paraplegics with their prosthetics or whatever, that's a weird gray area because it's still a human user that's going to develop the muscle memory with the hands, if you can call it that. They're still going to have to practice getting the skill right. They're still going to have to study composition, and they're still going to have to study how to make a line, and that's still art. So I can say that's still art in my book.
Right. Yeah. All right, so back to John's show.
Oh, thank you.
So you've been doing this for 2.5 years. Now, recently you started platforming creators of a more alternative genre that the more mainstream people dislike, and I noticed that you got some heat for that. Now, prior to that, you really hadn't stepped out and said much about your politics or whatever, or at least no one cared for the last 2.5 years. But I've noticed this since I've known you over the course of the last 6 months, maybe. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, first off, I didn't know I got any heat. I just been asking everybody that I like, and then other people have been asking to come on my channel. And my policy is I want to talk comic books. If you want to talk comic books, we'll come on my channel. I don't care about your politics. I know for a fact that I had people that disagree with politics, and we talk comic books, and it was great.
There you go.
So I'm curious who's been heat because I didn't know anything about that.
Well, Do you have people that refuse to come on your show because you platform?
Oh yeah,
people like Eric July? That's the heat I'm
I
talking
invited
about.
a few people that actually said yes, and then when I went to go confirm them, I found that I was blocked on Twitter and stuff like that. I've had people that I reached out to for the first time, and I found out that I was blocked, probably because of a block bot. So, but it's not like I'm picking people that are Christian or atheist or left wing or right wing. I'm just talking to people that like comics. So this is an open invitation to anybody who's in the chat or whatever. You want to talk comics and you want to keep it civil, we'll talk. Like I've sent out invitations to Heidi McDonald. I'm pretty sure I could easily say that we all disagree with Heidi McDonald, but I would love to talk to her. I would love to have Gail Simone, Heather Antos. You know, I was talking, believe it or not, I've been direct messaging with Ron Mars for a while. He stopped responding to me, but you know, we were this close to having a talk. And if politics comes up, I'm not going to shy away from it. But I'm not going to be antagonistic to anybody, especially a guest on my show. I'm not a gotcha guy, and I'm not a drama farmer either. But I'll talk to anybody who legitimately wants to have a good faith argument or talk about comic books. I would love to have Rich Johnson one-on-one, and we could talk with the unfiltered promise that he won't just disappear on me. That would be great. Why not?
Right. So what do you think is like, what is at the core of people not wanting to talk comics? We've seen this happen where they as soon as you diverge from the talking points and the narrative that people want, they start to label you, or if you say cheers bud to Ethan, you're somehow now Comicsgate. I mean, I've been around the Comicsgate group now since 2020, actually before that. And I've not seen one actual bigot, sexist, I've seen a couple misogynist, but that's just comic books in general. You'll run into that, right?
This group of people that you want to Comicsgate for, they've been the friendliest, nicest, welcoming people I've ever met.
Right.
And believe me, when I started out, I just wanted to talk comic book people. Comicsgate people embraced me. They were nice. When I started saying I wanted to do a comic book, they were like, "Oh, let's talk about it," And
these are people that are very excited about comics, right?
I'm sorry.
So these are people that are very excited about comics.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm with Randy on this. I'm a firm believer that titles kind of need to go away. I think that now that Comicsgate is trademarked by Ethan, it really needs to become his brand for publishing. And I think that's really what it should be. But I mean, I think the movement, the idea behind it still lives with people, just wanting good comics, wanting, meritocracy in comics and things like that. I get it. But there are a lot of people out there paying their creative dues. And I think titles aren't helping anybody because it helps us to segregate our thinking, to segregate our work from one another.
It's more of a pigeonhole label.
But it also helps. Yeah. It also helps your enemies and detractors kind of put you into a spot so that they can try to explain away why you're successful and they're not.
Keep them blinders on.
It's us first. It's easy to other people when we make divides. Like I've said this a few times on my channel. Like I quote George Carlin when he said, "I love people. It's groups that I have problems with," and that is pretty much my philosophy in a nutshell. Like when it comes to politics, I don't care about right wing, left wing. I don't care about Republican, Democrat. To me, it's individualism versus collectivism. And
policy by policy labels, right?
I'm an individual, and
I'm a huge fan of Carlin too. The thing my motto is, you can always prick your finger, but you can never finger your. Yeah. But
anyway, we know.
We know where you're going with that.
I'm an individual, and that's why my format on my channel, I very rarely have panels, and not to be, but like I'm kind of uncomfortable in this format because I like one-on-one. If I go to a party, you'll find I'll find one person and I'll stay and enthusiastically talk with that guy over and all night long, and then I realize that I neglected that guy. So I like talking with the individual. So like at first when Comicsgate first came out, I don't even know, 2014, 2015, I was a little
15,
uncomfortable because I'm
16.
like, oh, this is just another faction and it's going to be another. And I joined if it's a club with the membership, but I kind of aligned with Comicsgate because I was like, these guys are more individuals, and I think that's the biggest problem is that these mainstream guys like Dan Slott, Gail Simone, these people would never be able to survive without a collective propping them up. Could you imagine Dan Slott doing a crowdfund? Like Luke, would you?
Possible.
Dan Slott comes on Fund My Comic with his I don't even know. Slott.
I love it.
Yeah, but would I don't think he could do it. Like
I think he could. I think he's got enough individual fans, but I think it'll be a lot like Rob Liefeld's attempt that still is unfulfilled to this day. I think what you happen is you run into that
he's capable of. I don't know. Could Gail Simone do her own property?
I think they're capable of funding. I don't think they're capable of fulfillment.
But that's what I'm thinking. Like, I think this is why I get along with the Comicsgate people, because it's more of like a confederacy rather than a collective. It's a group.
Oh, don't use that term.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know.
Get
don't
canceled.
use that
Can't use.
term. Yep.
No.
But you know what I mean? It's a group of people that are just like, okay, we got similar ideas, but
Yeah.
Ethan Van Sciver is not my boss. Luke,
Yeah.
Aaron is not my boss.
I do. Well, I do think it's like what runs in the problem when you start labeling groups and things is that anyone that also adheres to that label then becomes a spokesperson for that label, which is why, the whole trademark of Comicsgate had to happen, because there was people trying to use that label to produce kid porn. And it was absolutely disgusting what was happening. And quite honestly, I align with whoever wants to give me support, as an individual, as an artist, creator. And I align with people that just want good comic books. Now, granted, we're all going to make comic books at different levels in our career. We're all going to, whatever that quality is, we're going to make the best comic book that we can make. And the point is that we make the best one that we can make, and we just keep making the next one better and better and better. Some people obviously come out of the gate and they're amazing. They're savants. They do, they're able to fund, having a certain number of really creative people. Maybe they can hire award-winning writers. But, just because you do have a book that has award-winning writers and artists on it doesn't mean that it's going to sell any more than one that doesn't.
Yeah, you said a very important word. Some are savants, but some others are idiot savants.
Yeah.
Very talented people with no people skills that don't know how to sell. And that's the challenge to everybody who jumped into this arena now. You have to develop those people skills, because if you can't sell your book, it doesn't matter how good it looks. You're gonna be standing on a huge stack of books on sale.
I got two comments to respond to that. First off, comic books is a solo activity. It's I don't know about you, but have you ever invited people over to just sit around in your living room and read comics in silence together? No,
I have not. No.
I've tried it with ladies. It didn't work.
The second thing is people are going to be buying my comics because of Renzo's amazing artwork. I would like to flatter myself and think that maybe I have a few fans that would buy my comic anyway, but Renzo's artwork is going to sell my comic, and I would like to think that my writing plus Renzo's artwork is going to keep you buying my comic. So,
BA makes a great point that, sales doesn't determine. So BA makes a great point that sales don't really determine if the book is good or not, because you can have a book that sells a whole bunch but isn't great. Marketing is really where it comes down to. Now that, if you're a good marketer, you'll probably have a good chance of
selling one or two.
Selling one or two books. But if you're not, I'll be honest with you. I'll talk about the Starcross guys. There's a lot of guys over there that make great books, but they don't sell very well because they're not marketers. Randy makes great books, but he doesn't sell very well.
Speaking about marketing and Renzo,
because he forgets to promote and forgets to market his campaigns.
I get busy.
Speaking about Renzo and marketing, can I throw some of Renzo's work up here?
Yeah.
So Renzo's been. Let's do that.
Renzo's Look at that.
Good busy.
Yeah, he's
Yes,
working
indeed.
on this my comic here called Adriftwood, story about necromancers, and this is one of the 2-page spreads that he drew up.
That's great.
That looks great. Renzo's a good artist.
Yeah.
And the thing is, art is also very subjective. There's going to be people out there. I mean, there's people that like my work enough to pay me to do it for their work. In fact, one of my clients had no idea what my political leanings were or who I was connected with in comic books. None of that. Just a tweet came across with one of my pieces that I did, and he liked the work, saw that I was open for commissions, and contacted me through my website. And I've been working on his book, and it just good comic books. It's people just want good comic books. I think at the end of the day, and it doesn't really matter. People are going to disagree and they're going to lie in different places. But John, from your perspective, what is it that you have seen that maybe causes some of these people not to want to go on a platform that is more open to the comics discussion? It's never been about politics when I've been on your show. It's always been about comic books.
Right. I could probably mention 5 times where politics became like a main topic of my conversations with people. It's mostly comics, sometimes board games, nerd stuff, why would people not want to come on my channel? Well, if they don't like me, then that's valid. And I can't argue with that. You know what I mean? Second, I guess because now I'm Comicsgate, so it's easy to hate me, even though you don't know me, you didn't meet me. I'm associated with bad people, and I'm now reflected with the
Nick.
fascism or whatever nonsense these babies want to think.
I'm associated with good comics. Look, there's especially on.
I haven't put out a comic yet, so I can't. But I'd like to think a year from now they're going to be like, well, that guy might be a jerk, but at least his comic was excellent.
Well, I like to think I'm associated with good comics. There's people who probably hate my work.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
I mean, that's inevitable. That's inevitable. But
yeah,
the thing
I can't wait.
I really hate that label, like bad person. This is somebody who's drawing. How much evil can you project into the world by drawing? I think if you were part of a Nicaraguan death squad, you're projecting way more evil than a guy who is at home in his studio making pictures.
Look, I'm not I'm not an influencer.
Yeah.
Like that's not what I do. I draw comic books. That's what I do. I draw comics. And I've not been able, I can't even influence myself some days, let alone anyone else. So I don't know where that, like people get all that kind of stuff. But to be quite honest, as an artist, as a writer, what I want people to do is feel something. And if that's absolute disdain for my work, they felt something, job accomplished.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
You win.
It's good stuff. So, maybe that's it. But you have big plans for a comic book. Let's talk about your comic book for a second.
Okay. I always get a little caught up when I got to promote myself. I got to get better on it. But
that's okay. I'll ask you questions. You'll answer the questions, and we'll make it easy.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So what first inspired you to do a comic? Is this something you always wanted to do?
Something I've always wanted to do. As a little kid reading comic books, I said I wanted to grow up and I wanted to write the Fantastic Four. That's been my lifelong dream forever. Now, Marvel Comics, I never had the illusion that Marvel was going to hire me, but now even if Marvel hired me, I wouldn't want to do it. They bother me so much. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make my own comics. And I want to make comics that capture the majesty, the glory, the sense of wonder and excitement that I basically want to return and share with people the way comic books made me feel for so long. So I'm making a comic called Heroic Tales. Now, Heroic Tales is going to be like, I want it to be a love letter to Marvel Comics in the 80s and late 70s and 80s. So it's going to be like a Marvel premiere. It's going to show it. First issue is going to have the Patriarch. He's a superhero, the flying caped superhero. He's a good guy. He's a family man. He's a father. He's he is all the positive masculine traits that seems that people are putting down on these days. He was an EMT before he got his powers. The day he got his powers was the day his wife gave birth to his children. and he just feels okay. I'm a father now. So he's kind of like a goofball, like that, but like, oh, now it's serious. I have a stake in this world, and I need to make the world. Oh, I have powers now. Now I can make the world a better place, and him being a father is a driving force in becoming a superhero. And I think that's a direct response to the way Marvel's been treating Reed Richards, one of my favorite superheroes my whole life. Like, Reed Richards is the daddy figure of Marvel Comics, and they've been pooping on that character for.
Well, Randy says this all the time, that they can't do a good Fantastic Four movie because the Fantastic Four has always been about family,
right?
And they don't understand the family dynamic.
The Incredibles is a Fantastic Four movie.
Yep.
It really is.
From broken homes. Yeah,
So, John, you just turned 55 2
Yes.
weeks ago. Happy birthday again.
Thank you.
What made you wait so long to decide to do your own comic book?
I'm a construction worker, and it's just rough, and pre-COVID, it was so much overtime. I would just come home and just read a comic book and fall asleep, like in the middle. And things have slowed down a little bit. I'm in the position now where my bills are paid off. I have a house. I have all my ducks in a row. And now I'm like, you know what? Why not now? I started listening. I did my channel, and I saw RJ from the Fourth Age made a comic. Mm-hmm. So I was talking to him, and he was just like, yeah, I got a full-time job. I do this. And I always wanted to make a comic. And when he said that he had hired Mike Gustovich to do I was like, how is this possible? And RJ was like, no, it's very possible. There's a lot of guys that are available. So I started talking to major comic book legends like Mike Barron, Chuck Dixon, and they were like, yeah, you. So I was like, what am I waiting for? Like, there's talent out there. I have the means to do it. I could gamble. I don't think I'm gambling. I think my comics could be wonderful.
You could buy a sports car, or you could make a comic book, right?
Right. Yeah. And speaking of Marcus is a stretch goal of mine. If I hit a number that I don't know yet, because I still haven't figured out all the expenses, but he'll be doing an 8-page unheroic tales about one of my villains. So I want to do heroic tales, and then if I could hit stretch goal, unheroic tales, a little backup story about the villains. So I started seeing other people doing it. I started seeing other people making comics. I don't know if you know Dan Sen, who does Argo Comics. He was a friend of mine since high school, and this guy's been making comics for 22 years. And he was like, "What are you doing? If you want to make a comic, make a comic." Matter of fact, about 5 or 6 years ago, my friend Mike started making a comic, and I was like, "What are you, crazy? Who wants to buy your comic? What are you gonna do?" And I started talking him out of it. And now I'm like, "Hey, Mike, you still making that comic? Let's do it." And he was like, "Weren't you the guy telling me you can't do it?" So it was just seeing guys like you guys, all of you guys making comics, and I'm like, I'm not better than you, but I'm not worse. I let me see. At least I could. And it's the same philosophy of like, I'm just going to reach out to Eric July, like, you want to come on my channel? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, oh, cool. Because the worst he could have said was no. And then what? So I'm going to make this comic. I fully believe if you like comics, you like superhero comics, you're going to love my comic, hands down. Now, like Luke says, does that mean it's going to be a financial success? I don't know. Let's roll the dice and see what happens.
Look, your first book, probably not. Let's just be honest, but that's not the point of doing it, right?
Right. And if my knees hurt, I don't want to do construction anymore. How's that for a sales?
Look, if you're in this to make money as an independent writer and publisher and creator, when you initially start, if you're in this to make money to start out, if this is a way for you to think, oh, I'm going to be able to make a quick buck. I see the money that July's making. I see the money that Skyver's making, Van Skyver's making. If that's what you're thinking, then you're in this for the wrong reason.
Right.
The only way that it's going to be good is if you are making something that you want.
I have 20 issues planned. I have about 6 or 7 scripts already written out. I've been playing a role-playing game called Villains and Vigilantes with my buddies since it came out in the 82. So that's, for those of you who don't know, it's a superhero role-playing game. It was like Dungeons & Dragons, but superheroes. It's like playing a comic book. So we've been making stories. So I've been world building this world for 20 years. And then all my friends are always like, hey, you should make a comic book. You should make a comic book. You should make a comic book. And so So I'm using all my characters. I don't feel I have the right to use their characters that they made up. You know what I mean? So I'm using this world that I developed, and so it's all planned out. Like, talk about a continuity.
It's funny
not even the big guys make money on their first books. Yeah.
It's funny.
Again, I don't think I would love to break even. If I could break even, to me that would be a success. But you know what? I would love to be like a year from now. You guys have me on your channel and be like, John, you're like Randy over there in his spinner rack. He's got my heroic tales on that spinner rack, and be like, this was a good comic. That would be awesome.
Yeah. So I think currently Marvel Comics, and I want to bring this up. Let me go ahead and bring it up like this. I want to bring this up because it's newsworthy. Based on something you said.
Want to cut in and say, as we're winding down, hit that like and love button over there. Every bit nudge on the algorithm is great for us. So do that, please.
Yeah, not even the.
Can I jump in here for a second? Because I want to say it was funny that you talked about building your world universe through like role playing games and Dungeons and Dragons, but with the RPGs, the heroic, or what you may call it, the superhero stuff. I actually doing the similar thing with my stuff, and both of us are using Renzo, so I think great minds think alike.
Yeah. Renzo, I mean, I saw his art on Thomas Valiant, RJ's book, and I was like, this is the guy that's, my favorite two superhero artists are John Byrne and George Perez, and I saw Renzo, and I'm like, this is like John Byrne and George Perez had a baby, named it Renzo Rodriguez.
So you mentioned how surprised you were that you could just hire these really great artists, right? Well, here's what people don't understand. There is only 60 current titles in 2023 that they're currently making right now at Marvel. 60. Now there's like 500 SKUs or something like that because of all the variant covers. So if you do covers, you're working for Marvel. If you do interiors, there's only 60 books to work on, and they're hiring a lot of Brazilian artists right now. So a lot of these old guard artists, whether it be because they're too expensive, they're priced out, or whether it be because they their politics or whatever, for whatever reason, they're not working, and so they're available. They're available. You can get these great.
A lot
people.
of these modern editors have labeled them too nostalgic too, and they just don't hire them.
Walt Simonson put out a tweet that he was available to work, and Marvel responded, "People don't want your art anymore. It's too old-fashioned." Walt Simonson, one of the greatest comic book artists of all time,
just
still
ridiculous.
at the top of his game, is too old-fashioned. I will reverse that and say you guys are too stupid to be editors for Marvel Comics if that's what you think. I think a lot of these editors probably only been editors for 6 or 7 years. They probably don't even know who Walt Simonson is.
Yep, that too.
You
want to know where they're ended up? Archie now in their digest printing new material. Al Milgram, Ron Friends, written by Tom DeFalco. There you are. Just hit your local grocery store and take a look. First story in there is usually new material.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Jim Fern is working with EVS. I believe
their idea of quality lies somewhere else. That's why they would reject a Simonson, because they're looking outside of the U.S. So they're influenced by animation, by manga, by anime. So it's a different I don't want to say sensitivity toward, but it's also a travesty because you don't know your own history. You're not making My Neighbor Totoro. You're making Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. This has a history, and there's no respect for that.
Right.
So an editor's talking like that. It's just somebody who doesn't know where he's working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I reached out to Pat Broderick, one of my favorite comic book artists of all time, and he's going to do a cover for me that I want to put on as a Fun My Comic exclusive. And I was so nervous. I was shaking typing. And he was so nice. He's like, "Yeah, sure. This is great. Mike Barron said you were interested." So I'm like, Mike Barron already contacted Pat Burt to let him know that I'm like, how is comic books so friendly that a legend like Mike Barron wishes me happy birthday on my birthday? Like a private message, not even like a Facebook hit like on your, and then goes and tells his buddy that another guy that he knows is. I'm like, and these are the bad guys. These are the These are the
Right.
Istanbul Nazi misogynist cannibals. War
I was thinking the
criminals.
same thing
There you
the
go.
other day. I
They
was
are
looking through
so
my.
nice.
I'd gotten a message from Kelsey Shannon. He was just touching base with me, seeing how things were going, and it dawned on me that I've got guys like Mike Barron that I talk to. I haven't
Right.
talked to Chuck Dixon yet, which I really want to.
He's
I'd love to have
great.
Chuck on the show.
Chuck Dixon calls me his buddy.
Yeah, I love
Dixon calls
Chuck's
me
work.
his buddy.
I'd love to have Chuck on the show.
Yeah.
But we've had Mike on. We've had Gary Martin on. We've had some amazing creators, and it's one of those things where 14-year-old, 15-year-old Luke was fantasizing about working in comics,
Right.
and the people that I would talk to. And
You're
and
reading
be
Badger
friendly
20,
with.
30 years ago, and I'm like, I'm going to be on a first name basis with this guy someday.
Yeah, right. And to think that I thought that I had to be in these big places,
Right.
doing these big things in order to do that.
Kelsey
There you go,
Kelsey
boy.
Shannon
Yeah,
says,
you're
"When
right.
am I going to be on your show?" Kelsey Shannon.
Yeah.
When I was like, "Oh, what you available right now? Before you change your mind,
Yeah. It's one of those things to think, wow, I am living my childhood dream
Right.
in comic books, and I didn't have to go the way of Marvel and DC to do it. I didn't have to do that. Somehow I was able to find that spot somewhere else. And I'm still paying my creative dues. I'm still working to get my title out there, to get my stuff going. But every step has been worth it, but it's just been, there really is a lot of positivity in comics if you look for it.
There is. People ask me that all the time. How do you like the internet and everything like that? I say, it's great. What people don't understand is we cultivate our own internet experience. If you're having a negative internet experience, unless there's a psychopath freak that's like stalking you, like, let's face it, some people have internet stalkers that just ruin it. But barring that, the average person cultivates their own internet and they make their experience their own. And mine has been overwhelmingly positive. And I have to say, the only negative things have been my own fault for, losing my temper inappropriately, or just somebody said something I didn't like and I had to be a troll and say something, which I'm kind of got under control these
We're
days.
all guilty of that.
Yes, yeah. That little stupid dopamine rush that we behave child.
Hojo's one of those guys that sometimes can't help himself.
Hojo,
How do you-
I love Hojo.
Hojo's a national treasure. Leave
Yeah,
Hojo alone.
I got the Mythicals #1, and I'm eagerly awaiting #2. And it looks exponentially better. Not that issue 1 was good. Issue 2 looks exponentially better, and I hope that people will say that about Heroic Tales #2.
Speaking of Mike Barron working with the guy, so I'm working on a project with R.J. William,
Yeah.
and Mike Barron went over the script with him,
Oh,
and
cool.
just having Mike did an amazing job. I mean, the script wasn't bad to begin with, but Mike had such insight on how to construct and craft the story.
Right.
I'm really looking forward
The guy's a
to
legend.
working on this book.
You know?
The
It's
Iron Age is
funny.
full of approachable people who are easy to talk to and work with.
Absolutely.
It's actually
Absolutely.
100% true because, like, I remember when I was looking for artists and stuff like that, I talked to Richard Bonk, right? Just like the openness, like I couldn't afford like his page rates. Unfortunately, it was a bit more expensive out of my budget range, but like all the guys I've talked to for the comics or through comics, get my stuff together, like I had no idea they give me the time of the day, but they did, and they were more than happy to talk to me about it.
If you had told 15-year-old me that A, I would be on a first name basis with Chuck Dixon and Mike Barron, and B, an Ant-Man movie would come out and I wouldn't even go to the movie theater to see it, I'd be like, you're crazy.
Yeah, I would not have believed that. But the truth is, there are, and this is where the news really fails a lot of times, and why a site like Fandom Pulse is so important, because they're supposed to have their finger on the pulse of the fandom. There are so many people out there that just love good comic books and love the medium and respect the art form and just want to consume. Some want to collect, and I do believe in 2024, the collector's market is going to suffer. It's already started to wane a little bit, but when the collector's market goes away, when the speculators, pardon me,
I was gonna say, because I'm a
Stop
collector
buying.
over here.
when the speculators stop buying,
Right.
right? because they realize collectors have left mainstream. When that happens, the whole of their business model and their structure will collapse. 60 titles by Marvel, 60 individual books. I think it was something like 570 SKUs.
I don't know about you guys, but I only buy the A covers of a comic. You know, first off, I'm not made out of money, so I can't afford to buy infinite variant. Second off, I don't want to reward that behavior. Especially I'm talking Marvel, DC, mainstream comics. Like Firewatch, I bought 4 covers because, you know, he's a good guy. He's been on my channel. I want to support him, and why not? You know, I can afford it. And I'll make it a variant cover, so I guess I'm a hypocrite too. But, you know, an exclusive cover, I don't have a problem. If you do a reprint and it's colored different or whatever, that's cool. But Marvel having 57 covers for the newest issue of I don't know, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, it's ridiculous. And I think it's just flood the shelves so that other stuff can't have a space on the shelf. It's almost like those ivy plants that go out and kill your lawn. You know, and they're, you know, it's like a parasite. I couldn't think of the word parasite. You know.
Let's talk about our Christmas wish list.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fiendish is on there.
Backed it. Renee is such a talent.
She had a catch-up tier on here where I could get everything, and I did that because I had not purchased the first two books from her. So yeah, 26,000 she's made.
I don't know what it is, but it just hit me in such a way. Like I didn't even know who Irene was. I got Fiendish because somebody else was talking about it, and I immediately reached out to her, and she came on my channel. It was great. You know,
less than $100 away from 7,000 on the Mythicals too, guys.
I backed that. I backed it.
Oh, by the way, this everything is fixed now. So we implemented a new feature where you could hide and reorder your rewards. But when we created that little plugin, it was nestled inside of the code that said, do not edit if, right? And so do not edit if it's been picked up already, if it's already been claimed. That way people can't go in and change shipping dates or change certain things. So we needed to pull that one line out so you can edit the order of that reward, but not the other things if it's been claimed. And so we had to write a patch for that. And so they wrote the patch, and it took them a couple weeks to get it tested and make sure it worked. They deployed the patch the other day. But on that do not edit if, 1 to allow, 0 to not allow, right? They had it reversed. Ryan had it reversed. And so it wasn't allowing you, even after you created and you weren't launched yet, it was saying that you couldn't edit it because it was claimed already. And so we went in and fixed the patch, did that, and everything is working just as it should now, which is why whenever we release a new feature, we try not to piggyback too many of them because we know it's going to be a few weeks before we find all the bugs. Thank you everyone for your patience. Thank you for my admin teams for jumping in and helping with getting all that sorted for people that needed help. I appreciate you very much. You're doing the Lord's work, I'm telling you. And thanks to the people we hire that do a great job at helping us put this site together. So I'm very excited about that working now. So now with the shopping cart, you can add up to 5 of each instance, and the ability to reorder your rewards in the way that you want them. We are getting closer and closer to the vision that I have for this website. I'm very excited about it. Yeah. I'm kind of looking forward to Vindicated. I did not know this was on the site. I don't know that I was the one that approved it. But I had to put it up here in the feature because it got tipped, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some sexy covers in there. I like the interiors.
Yeah, the interiors look better than the covers, though.
Yeah, I like the interiors. It's kind of a mix between a manga and a U.S. comic feel.
Yeah.
Fusion.
Yeah, like this nice fusion, and I enjoy it very much.
I'm a manga.
Yeah, so this is kind of neat looking. I mean, It looks like it's drawn back on some kind of African history stuff.
Yeah,
Looks like there's a touch of zombies in it even.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with
Actually, it
some.
looks cool. Like I would advise to change a little bit the cover so it will reflect what's inside.
Well, you also have the
And
not safe for work stuff on here.
Yeah. Like the
It
cover's
seem-
telling me it's a completely different story. Like I thought it was like smut. Sorry.
I mean, it usually bothers me when the artist on the cover is different than the interior, but they're showing the interiors, so you know.
Yeah.
We're showing quite a bit of the interiors
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
I mean, this is not bad. I'm not saying like it's bad art, but it's just not. It's not connecting with what's inside. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's all good, but it just
They're,
yeah, there is a
they're showing
disconnect.
you everything, so you can make your own informed decision.
Yeah.
We have Comics Illustrated is new. So this just funded on the green site. It is now over here. It has an exclusive cover. So
Okay.
there are the normal covers on there.
There's no
And,
ambiguity here.
None whatsoever. Here's the Fund My Comic exclusive cover, which is funny. It ain't gonna
Fund itself.
Wrench itself?
it ain't gonna do something.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
a mark. What's the Ethan Van EVS line there? If there's a market for everything.
There's a market for that.
Oh yeah.
Like,
We
don't
did this
make
winter
it.
special. This looks nice.
Yeah.
It does look nice. Hold on. I think I got that clip somewhere. Where is he? There he is.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
So the cool thing about this is there's 48 different publishers, 21 48 different pages. There's 48 pages, 21 different publishers. Magazine size, got 21 pinups in it. There's stuff in there from Tim Seeley. There's stuff in there from
He's a guy that's
There you
checking
go.
me out to see if I'm safe to be on. You know, he said he was going to come on, and then he put it off for a month, and now he's like, so we'll see the stages of him coming on my channel and then saying,
yeah. There's a lot of contributors to it. I know that Arrow Comics own Hyper Steed is writing some articles that are going in that book. Next month there will be an interview about Fund My Comic in there. So Mike first approached me with questions about Fund My Comic because he said some negative things on Facebook about us, and based on some assumptions that he had, some presumptions, and people in the comments, what do they kids call that, ratioing, went and said, look, you're all wrong about this. And so he's like, fine, I'll get a hold of Luke and I'll find out. And so he contacted me, and we had some run-ins. We being myself and the Wheelers, Mindy and I had a run-in in the past, and Mike. We've since buried the hatchet. All of that stuff is in the past. You know, you can't, when it comes to trying to make this a living in a business, you can't hold grudges. You try not to anyway. And so he asked a lot of serious questions about Fund My Comic, and I was able to answer those questions about Fund My Comic. And he went from never using the site to now he has an exclusive cover. And so this is a neat way to get this book. Now, granted, on the green site, all you have to do is just post up a Mindy Wheeler pinup like that, and you're going to post up a Revolt pinup like that, and you're going to get backers. So we're not quite to that status where people come on for those kind of things. People that come on this site are really coming in for story content. But the cool thing is you've got a lot of content from a lot of different people in here. So it's like a legitimate news magazine that just so happens to have Maxim covers and some Maxim pinups in it. So it's like a little bit is like the best of both worlds, really, for this. But it's $15 for the $8 for the retail version of it. The nice covers are $15. The exclusive cover is also done by Revolt. Man, what a fantastic artist he is. Is $20, and so you can check that out.
I just back now while you were talking.
There you go. Well, then that, you know what that means.
What's that mean?
That you don't. Oh, you don't know what that means. That means
I made the bird dance.
You made the bird dance. You flipped Mike the bird. Mike's used to that though. He's gotten flipped the bird quite a few times in his life, I'm sure. Mike can be a polarizing personality. Yeah. So, but no, it's great to see that. I think this is their third issue. It's already to print. The January issue is already going to print. Here's another really cool looking book, Sinstress. Love to have this one on my pull list. Look at that cover.
Cover is awesome.
Look at that cover.
Bazooka.
My gosh, this art looks amazing. And then when you get down here into the interiors, they are equally as gorgeous. Wow. The colors on it pop, dude.
That's stuff. Yeah.
It's a solid looking book.
Yeah, that looks good.
Brian Magne has done some work for me. He's amazing. He's done a couple of cover art colors for me. Alex Owens is owning the interiors of this book, man. Look at that. I love that grayscale. That's sick. Look how cool that face looks. What a great job on that face.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the
It
little
doesn't even
lines in
feel-
there.
I'm a fan of black and white comics too. That looks awesome.
Yeah. But indie comics suck. They're all mediocre. That doesn't feel mediocre to me.
No.
I'm just saying that doesn't feel mediocre to me at all.
And like that's a very ignorant and prejudiced statement.
It really is.
Right? It's just, yeah, sure. You've seen all indie comics. Wow, you have a lot of time in your
Dude,
hands.
Silence is doing good. Look at that. I didn't notice how good that's doing.
Oh, nice.
15 backers up to 550. This storefront there, he's already this was another creator that had a little trouble with when we had the
launch.
He had a little trouble, with the launch of the new feature, and he also had a little trouble with his some people, because we do things differently at Fun My Comic than the other places. You actually create a Connect account with Stripe, and the money that the backers give doesn't actually go to Fund My Comic. It goes directly to you through our hub. It just goes to our portal, and all we do is siphon off the platform fee for hosting your site, hosting your campaign. So that money actually goes in an escrow for you that we do payouts. Some people daily, some people bi-weekly or weekly. It's easy peasy. We're not trying to keep your money. Look at that. That's a nut shot right there. That is straight to the groin. He's going to feel that in the morning.
I'm glad that this one's on a storefront because sometimes I miss the backer stuff, and I'm not going to miss this one.
The storefront model is actually more popular at Fund My Comic than the crowdfunding model, where people can put their books in as continuously people are able to buy them. So this one was just a long campaign, another campaign, a long campaign. It is good to have days left when you're trying to raise a certain amount of money. But here's a storefront. This one's in storefront. Oh, Sinstress ended or is ending. It closed 14 hours ago. Dang it. So if you missed out, you missed out, guys.
Yeah.
So could you have a campaign and then when it ends, it turns into a storefront?
Yes.
Okay.
And honestly, if you have a campaign that ends and you are like, oh man, now I've got a convention or I'm going on a show that just popped up, I would love to be able to open that up so that I could promote it and maybe get a couple more backers. You just message us. Just go to support at fundmycomic.com and message us. And we can do that for you. We can hook you up because you have a lot of freedom with us. This book looks great. Bloodbone, Ash King.
I said this to other people, and I 100% believe it. I got Luke's phone number. Not that I'm saying, Luke, give everybody your phone number, but
Look,
if I don't even know who works at Kickstarter or the pig site,
Look, I'm not going to lie. My phone number is posted publicly. You go to the website, you look for the phone number. It's my phone number.
Oh my
That's
God.
why I have my phone with me everywhere I go.
I got a problem.
Answer it.
I could talk to, the guy. I don't know who the guy is at the other sites.
Well, I also know how to deal with trolls.
Luke, how many calls you get? Like, how many "what are you wearing" calls do you get?
I've never gotten one of those.
Oh, man.
I will
I've
in 20 minutes.
I've only gotten one really bad troll. But everyone knows about that guy, and we just had to turn that over to Grant.
Yeah.
Okay, for the record, our lawyer is Grant Schwartzentruber. And so so if everyone's like, Luke doesn't have a lawyer. No, he knows. Now he's dealing, because we're getting so much more notoriety than we used to. we're
Mhm.
you know he's having to deal with a lot more than what
Pedro, do you have any trolls? Do you have any haters yet?
The thing is, like, when they troll me, I just go, no habla inglés, and that takes care of it.
Speaking of trolls, here's an anthology.
Hey.
Another cool anthology by our good friend Christopher Tamilovich. Hero Shack Press. Very cool. Aside from these things, there was an image that that John sent me. I just don't want to talk about it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it just disgusts me.
Yeah, well,
So apparently,
you got it. Okay.
apparently, Superboy is getting hitched to his boyfriend. He proposed.
So exciting.
Yeah. Jeff Potts, welcome. It's good to have you. Red Dress Press is in the house. Hello,
What's
it's
up,
good to
Chris?
have you here. Guys, you know what? I really wanted to end at 2 hours today because I have so much work, but we are going to end at the 3 hour mark. It is 2 hours and 57 minutes
I
and
got a
13
doctor's appointment
seconds.
today.
We're going to close this thing down. Yeah, Hoja, I keep forgetting to send prank messages to Luke. Yes, and I do accept text. So if you want to get a hold of me, you can. I'm so transparent. And people warn me about. They're like, "Wow, you're
What
way
are you
too
wearing?
accessible." Well, my wife was like, "Even you're too accessible." And I said, "Look, I don't answer the phone after 5:30 unless it's someone that I
I'm
know
gonna take a
personally."
picture right now and send it to you. Hold on.
Oh no.
I could just see that. I'll open that up at
Wanna
church.
know.
It says I come in at the end. Glad I keep doing what I do. There you go.
Yeah. I can open that up at church. You know, it's like, it's just a message from John's long box. He didn't get the nickname from that. That's for sure.
Exactly.
It's a misnomer. It's like calling the big guy tiny.
Call the Big John now.
Oh gosh, it's been fun, guys. It has been a good day so far. Christmas is this weekend. Next week we'll be celebrating the new year. We are so close to hitting that 100 episode mark. We're going to be doing a 100th episode, and I'm going to be doing a giveaway. So we're going to be working on putting together a giveaway package that we will send out to one of our members or one of our viewers that day. We are also going to be doing away with channel memberships here. Yeah, Marcus, he watched me get trolled pretty hard. I do get trolled pretty hard from time to time. We are going to be, don't forget to Backflip City Magazine too. That's a great book. And we're what was I saying? Oh, I'm doing away with channel memberships here because YouTube has taken way too much of the money, and they're nerfing you guys. So they're nerfing your comments. So we're going to keep broadcasting to YouTube, but I now have a memberships section to the website. It's a strict $5. Starting after the first of the year, I'm going to be doing over at lukestonestudios.com. You can become a member and you will get page updates. So you'll get new pages of the comic books. You'll get progress reports on those. And whenever the book is finished, you will not only have the page by page that you'll be getting on a regular basis, but you'll also be getting a physical copy of the floppy sent directly to your house. So you don't even have to buy the floppies anymore. So if you're a big fan of what I'm doing, you don't have to buy any of those. You become a channel member. We'll take care of you there. You'll get free stuff. Sometimes I'll send out stickers and things like that. So we're going to be taking care of channel members. I will be creating a second section that's going to be for all of the dulcimer lesson stuff because I had some requests to start teaching like modern worship on dulcimer because I've been able to pick up to the dulcimer pretty quickly. It only helped that I had 30 years of guitar in order to translate that, so I had 6 strings in a chromatic scale. Now I have 3 strings in a diatonic scale, so much easier to work with. So imagine it translated pretty easy. So I'll be working on that. We are toying with things to do, maybe a regular release for digital comics, kind of like our own version of Webtoons on aerocomics.store. And we have big announcements that are going to be coming, but one big announcement that we wanted to make at the top of the show, and we were waiting on last week because Randy forgot to sign the paperwork. But
I don't think I'd still sign the paperwork. I'm sorry, buddy.
You might need to sign the paperwork, but
I'll sign the paperwork.
Pedro Eng is now an Arrow Comics creator.
The man, the legend.
He is bringing in Tropical Magics, and as soon as we can set up the meeting, we may be bringing in another property. Maybe bringing another property to Arrow Comics, and they will be a part of this big thing that we're announcing for next year.
Man,
I'm so excited about it. I'm not going to talk
year's
about
gonna
it.
be huge.
Not until we do it. It's something I've wanted to do. It was a vision that I had in 2020 when I started Terraform Comics. Just did not have the right people on board when we did that, and here we are. Once I was grafted in and adopted by Randy, and it's great to be a part of this thing. And I think there's gonna be some amazing stuff
I
happening.
haven't signed those papers either.
Right. Pedro, welcome aboard, my friend.
Thank you.
Welcome
sir.
aboard.
Very
I'm very
happy.
excited. Very excited to see more from you. You're a tremendous creator and
Yes.
one fun guy.
Yep.
One fun guy.
Yep. Fun guy.
Yeah, Randy.
Yep. It's like bacteria. Yep.
Ran-
I
do
just
you have
want to say
anything?
Shadow Kingdom in March on Fund My Comic. Be
yes.
on the lookout for that. A story by Robert E. Howard. I adapted for Russ Leach, the great Russ Leach, to do the artwork on. Looks phenomenal. It's going to be a great product coming out of Arrow Comics. Will be available on Fund My Comics in March. Probably March 1st. It's going to be
I think one of the
great
coolest
product.
properties of 2024. I can't wait to
And
get it started.
So much more coming.
Yes. John, you're working on that sign up page, right?
Yes. I got a Substack. Go to Substack, John Boer, Substack. And I think I have like 40 or 50 signups already, and I just started it like 2 days ago. So I'm pretty
Sweet,
excited.
man. Yeah. 200 signups is well, at least 100. 200 signups is best.
Oh,
If you can
okay.
do that, you're going to, yeah. At that point, you're about ready to launch at 200.
There
The
we
more
are.
you can get, the better. Because
obviously.
yeah,
It's not
because,
score.
yeah, Arrow Comics,
Well,
so check that. But yeah, John Box.
John Box, yeah. He's thinking of the picture I just sent him.
Yeah. I'm
If,
just gonna
if you go to Substack,
gonna
look
save
up
that in my
John
private
Boer
folder.
PUA, you'll see my Substack. Again, every little bit, every drop helps, says the woman as she peed into the ocean. Right?
Right. You guys distract me. I love it. Yeah, check out John's show. He's got some great guests. Watch those back episodes of that. Pedro, how's the animation school going?
Oh, dude, like I've got 6 classes ready. I want to get a new microphone, and I'm waiting. Like I'm leaving for Panama City like tomorrow for the holidays. So I'm gonna get new equipment. I'm gonna get a new mic because I want to improve the quality of the audio, which is what's keeping me, held back.
Yes.
But I already have like around 8 classes ready to cover the basics. And then the live streams, I was planning on grabbing scenes from movies and analyze them as an animator.
Cool.
So
very
it's not going to be like a normal class, but okay, take the classes and then you can discuss with me what's happening in this scene. Like for example, how would you separate the background? What kind of anticipation, action, reaction you get with characters from one movement to another? Like it's going to be very interesting. So yeah, there's a lot of things happening in 2024 on the Ang camp.
2024 is going to be a good year. We're going to talk about
Very busy,
our
busy
projections
year.
for 2024 with next week's show. So don't miss that one. Whiskey's still working on his comic book.
Yes, he is.
And are we going to get a launch in 2024?
I'm hoping for Halloween. That's my thing. But
He has his fingers and his toes crossed,
yeah,
which makes it pretty difficult to walk.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the only thing I can say about it is Renzo's got some other stuff he's got to get out of the way, so he's falling a little bit behind on my stuff. And we've talked about it.
It happens.
And it happens. I'm not complaining about it at all.
Yeah, I'm keeping him busy.
Exactly. And he's doing beautiful work on the project, as you've all seen. I'm not worried. That gives me more time to work on the layouts and pages and stuff. We'll get it done, even if we don't hit the Halloween mark. That's fine. It's still going to be a.
That's plenty of time. I think you might be able to do that.
Good quality takes time.
It does. Yeah.
Exactly.
It does.
Don't rush yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, guys, man, it's been a great show. Thanks for being here. I want to thank the chat. Thank everybody for being here again this week. We do appreciate you very much. Don't forget arrowcomics.store, fundmycomic.com, lukestonestudios.com. and all those other .coms that are out there.
Don't forget
we-
that like button too.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes,
Merry-
very much
Merry
so.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry freaking Christmas! Merry freaking
Yeah.
Christmas!
Frickin' Christmas.
Yeah, I think we've only got 9 likes so far on this video.
Whoa.
There's more
I
than
see
9
3
people
here.
watching.
So yeah,
There's
a lot
more than 3 people watching the video right now.
If you like
so
Christmas,
yeah.
give a like.
Give it a like.
Also,
Yeah.
tomorrow morning, Comics by Night, we're looking at the Ballad of Halo Jones.
Oh,
book 2.
great comic.
Right.
Yes,
Great
very cool.
book.
Comics by Night. All
Ian
right.
Gibson just
5
died,
a.m.
too.
Indie Comics Network. We're always archived over there in case you don't want to get up that early. So
Yep. And guys, we didn't really have a lot of doom and gloom today.
No,
which
good.
was
no
nice.
need, dude.
that's
I
what we
brought the
should.
sunshine for you, Luke.
There you are.
I
Brought me the
always say
sunshine.
the best episodes we do are always the ones that are just positivity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I
got
always
no
love that.
time for negative stuff anymore. Life's too short.
Tired of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it gets exhausting. It really does.
Hating ain't creating.
It ain't creating, man. Today, panelists, you did a great job today. I really appreciate it.
Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.
Please
Oh my god. that's
warn
Think
somebody
about what you've
before you do that. I'll be right back. I gotta go get some toilet paper.
Do it.
There you go. Yep.
Emotional, damn it!
We hit John with that emotional damage today. Sorry about that. Guys, remember, hating ain't creating.
gotta
Build
hit
up
my-
more than you tear down.
I gotta hit my mop robot right now.
Leave the wood pile higher than you found it. And by all means, you know what I'm about to say.
Let's be careful out there.
You be careful out there.
Let's be careful out there. Let's be careful out there. We had a 187 at the 7-Eleven on the corner of 4th and Main. 2 Caucasians of the male persuasion put a bullet through the cashier's brain. Moving on, I see it 211, half a dozen 459, 2 AEWs, a GTA, and several miscellaneous crimes. Homicide, arson,